I haven't played a new game in Manor Lords in quite a while, and the new patch 0.8 has come out recently, and so I figured I'd get a run in. So let's go ahead and start a new game. And we're going for more of a militaristic theme. We're going to be playing against 4 other opponents. We want to wipe them out, or 3 other opponents rather. So we'll take something a little more aggressive here. Like I said, I haven't really played this in a while, so I don't want to go for a challenging just yet. We'll get one under our belt, and then we'll go for the hard, crazy challenge. And I do want to do Fractured Realm, so AI opponents. Actually, can you... Okay, I was going to see if you can do more than that, but it looks like it's just 3 at the most. But that's fine. There's a bunch of new maps. I've only really played Germanic Valley. I haven't played this in quite a while, so I haven't even tried any of these other ones. But I do want to try, I think, either Jagged Cliff or Divided. Maybe Jagged Cliff looks kind of interesting. Yeah, let's do Jagged Cliffs, and I'm going to do this. Sometimes I will save scum to try to get the right resources. In this case, we're just going to go with whatever we have, because like I said, we're playing on default, so it shouldn't be that difficult to get a good start going. So let's go ahead and start it off. Here we go. Let's take a quick look and see what we've got. So zooming out and reorienting the map. We have good clay and good stone. For food, we have a regular deposit of wild animals and berries, and then we have a little bit of iron. So that should be interesting. We could use this for money, obviously. Stone would be good for both money and for making a castle. I don't know. Well, we'll probably make a castle, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal. It's kind of hard to get people to attack you unless you're playing defensively, and we're probably going to steamroll these guys. But I guess we'll see. I don't know. Maybe they made the game a lot harder. I can see one bandit group out here we'll want to take out as soon as we can so we can get that money. But aside from that, I think that's pretty straightforward. So we're not going to have good farmland here. Let's see if there's anything we can do. So Emmer, there's like a little patch of Emmer here that's half decent. It's the 2+. There's another patch down here. So we could get a little bit of farming in. Yeah, and then same down here. Flax and barley, probably nothing. Yeah, so that's not going to work. Rye, we could actually get rye in decent quantities. But the thing with rye is, if I understand it correctly, it makes half as much bread as Emmer does. I could be wrong on that, but I thought I remember watching a video that said that they changed it. It's not the same. So anyways, let me think for a minute here on how we want to get this set up, because I think this is a decent city location, but probably not going to be our primary big one. Maybe we won't go for one central big city, and we'll just kind of have several decent size that contribute to the military. And this one has good berries, and it looks like probably fertile soil. I don't see anything else. So yeah, there's fertile soil there. This one right next to us as well. This is berries and berries and fish. So not fertile soil. So 2 more foods. And then this one is stone and mushrooms. Wow, actually not really that helpful. We're gonna have to do a lot of trading. Yeah, unfortunately there's nothing we can really grab that's gonna help us a lot. I was hoping we could get access to a rich iron deposit. That would have been very helpful. Looks like the AI has 2. These 2 have it, so we'll have to take out one of them. Maybe we can save up and take one of them quickly so that we can work on getting all that. We don't have to import all that iron. But we'll see. Maybe we'll just import. All right, so I've got some basic structure set up here. Let's start with our wood cutting. So we've got a logging camp up here. We'll try to take out a lot of this wood line because this doesn't need to stay. And I think what we'll probably do is put a bunch of housing over here, or this could be the backyard extensions for food. Because if you look at what we have a little bit of wild animals and a little bit of berries. That's not going to really support a big population. So we will have to grow our own food here. And without good access to farmlands, I think we'll probably have the backyard extensions that kind of pop out way back here. So we'll clear these trees so we don't just waste them. We'll probably do starting population maybe in this area right here. But anyways, we've got a storehouse in this area, and I want that centrally located next to the stone and the clay surface. So we'll probably have an industrial area in this part of the town. And then I put the granary in the midpoint between the berries and the wild animals. And like I said, we'll probably put some housing over here, and then maybe the large housing with the big extensions in the back with fruit and veggies we'll do in this region over here. So we can kind of centralize our food here, centralize our industry or non-food over here, and I think that's probably going to do it. So we'll build some berries at some point, but we need to get these other things up first. Also built a hitching post. I ordered another ox already, so we should be good to go. Let's let these people start building stuff. And I don't care about the messages. want to put, I think, at least 2 people in the logging camp in the early stage, and then we'll probably pull one back. But that should get us started. We need to get a lot of housing up so that our people aren't completely pissed off. Let's get everything off the ground as well. So storehouse, we'll occupy it. Oh, you know what? I hadn't considered where we're going to put our marketplace. And I guess we can do one right here. Be a small one. Do like a small one along the side. Okay, we got a small one right here on the side. So hopefully this guy, yep, sets up a common goods stall. And then we'll set up another one down here for the food. So hopefully they don't have to travel. Actually, I don't know if they actually travel there or if it just teleports. I know there was some work done on that, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, see what actually transpires here. So we're building a granary, get everything off the floor. So we need to get all of our supplies off the floor. We've got food and tools and stuff that will rot if we don't get it off. So there we go. Tools are out, and we just need to get the food off. We'll start first 3 sets of houses. We're going to do singles for these because these are going to be probably industries that convert items. Actually, shoot, we don't really need that, do we? Because the industry for tile is not required to have an artisan shop in the back. And then for this, let's see, there's 2 different ones here now, if I remember. There's one, yeah, there's this one, the lime kiln. This one is required to make mortar, and it uses rubble stone. So that one we don't need an artisan shop for. And then same thing here, the stonemason station. Rough stone and address stone. So that one we don't need anything extra, actually. We can just use regular population. But that's okay. We'll probably still need to have some kind of artisan workshops here. I don't know what kinds. Most likely a brewery, unless we're going to import... we'll probably import barley and then convert it all the way up the production chain. And then potentially some of the iron stuff. Actually, no, that's true. We do need to make iron. So we'll have to make our own shields and our own weapons. So I think we'll use these for that. So maybe we'll get our initial 5 homes set up like that. And then we'll set up some long, skinny, what do you call it, burgage plots this way so we can get some food. So let me get these all built up. There we go. So they will actually build the stall in a marketplace that's closest to them. And this one has 2 spots, 4 spots. No, 3. Yeah, no, this one has 2. And then it's counting this one. Yeah, it says free stall locations. This one, if I remember, was a 4. And this one is a 2. We'll build another 2 over here if we need it. But yeah, so that's good. If they do transport stuff manually, they'll just do it right next door. So that's good. I know before there was some issues with stalls popping up. Anyways, I don't want to get into the details. It's fixed, hopefully. And now we're going to build some houses. We got 3 houses done. We've got 3 more going so that we can get some immigration and get another family to work. We're going to need more people here for sure. So it's starting to rain, but we got everything off the floor, so no need to worry about that. These last 2 houses are being built. And then we need to start working on expanding our food production for sure. So we need to get these berries out of there while they're still in season. Right now we're wasting it, unfortunately, but we'll change it up here. Right, there we go. All 6 houses are ready. So as soon as we get 1 more family in, we'll have to start expanding that again. We've got a hunting camp here. We've got the berry forager hut here. So once those are up, we can start collecting food. And we probably will pull somebody off of this logging camp here soon so we can use them somewhere else. We're going to need to collect some firewood soon as well, but that's probably not that big of a deal. There we go. We got a new family that moved in. So usually around the 1st of the month. And if I'm not mistaken, they added 2 ticks. So you can get 1 on the 1st and 1 on the 15th, even if you don't have your approval all the way up to above 75, I think it was before. Now it's not quite as punishing. So that should help. Now we need drastically to improve our food situation. So let's do that. And actually we have our forager hut as well. Let's pull 1 person off of this. So we'll get food from these 2 sources. Let's also build more housing because we are going to need that. But I think we are going to build duplexes so that we can actually take advantage of some of this space that we have back here. Now, question is, how big do we want them? And do we want them to be singles or doubles? So if we do, and actually it should probably be down here so that it's closer to this area. So why don't we section this off? Let me build another marketplace right here so we have some room to expand. We have another marketplace with 4 more stalls. So we're insulated against the future. I don't think we'll end up using that many stalls here, to be honest, but we'll see. We'll put another road here bracketing these in. This is kind of like a little crossroads for where we can put all of our food. Maybe we'll get another granary in this area, but what I'd like to do is start to section off some room here. So I'm thinking something like this, and then we can get another one in this. So maybe we can get like 4 or 5 in this area. We definitely don't need that much in the beginning because these things will produce quite a bit of veggies. So I think we'll start with the veggie farm first. Now, question is, do we do the single or the doubles? Let me see what it looks like if we do something like this. Yeah, it's not quite enough. So something like this looks pretty good. Average planning cost plus 100%. So maybe we'll use that as our benchmark. And let's go ahead and build that. We don't have money yet to do that, but I don't think money is going to be an issue for us in the early game especially. We can sell some of the stone, the clay, we can turn it into other things and sell the other products. So we've got plenty of options, but let's get this going. This will give us some room to expand. And yeah, we're definitely going to need people, but like I said, we need food for sure if we're going to expand as well. Now the next thing, if we're going to be able to afford building these veggie plots, is going to be a trading post. So let's go ahead and put this one up right here, right at the crossroads, because that's where we're going to be closest to the King's Road, while still getting access to the storehouse. And maybe the granary. I don't know that we'll sell too much of our food, though, to be honest. I don't like doing that. I'd rather keep it as a safeguard in case we, have a bad harvest or whatever, or something happens. But anyways, we'll do that. Let's get that building. And then there's a couple things we can sell. So pelts are not used for anything anymore. I'm pretty sure they just are trade items. So we can just straight up sell those. And what we could do is actually bar them from being stored here. So they'll stay here until this builds up. And that way this trading post doesn't have to travel too far. So why don't we do that? Another thing we need pretty desperately right now is firewood. So let's get the loggers. I don't really want to put it up here because we already are kind of sucking all the wood out of this area. So why don't we put one over here just temporarily? We can relocate it later. It's not a big deal. I don't want it too far from our storehouse to try and keep the efficiency as high as we can. So we'll sneak this right in here. And then, like I said, we'll probably demolish that later and put it somewhere else. But at least we aren't going to freeze it to death because we only have 1 more month. That's up and running. We will get firewood. We should be fine now. We just need people to move in and then we can staff the trading post. So we have room for 2 more families to move in. So yep, there they go. There's 1 family. They'll start building that and then we can start making money. And we also need to make some planks. You can see here, these planks are currently missing for the backyard extension. So let's go ahead and work on that. And obviously the closer we are to our woodcutter, the better off that'll be. So I'm going to just sneak this one right up here. So it's out of the way and we can build some good industry right in this area. And we're going to do a big expansion of our veggie area right here. And then we'll need to find a better place for fruits. So the fruits grow on trees and you need more space. Just they changed it up a little bit, but it feels like it's about the same as what it was before. Veggies, you don't need quite as much space. And then the orchard, they still take time to reach their max yield, which is fine, but they are way more expensive as well. So we'll have to carve out some area maybe in this. There's a lot of good trees that we can use, but I think in this area we can probably get a big one. Maybe like 2 or 3 once we get rid of this. Oh, no, we need to keep that. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. At the beginning, we just need some veggies that'll tide us over. Once we start upgrading to the tier 2 plots, we'll need another food source. So that's when the fruits will come in handy. Now our trading post is ready. Let's start trading off some of the stuff that we don't need. So for sure, we don't need the pelts. Export everything down to 0. This one is a minor trade, so we don't need to pay for a trade route for that one. And some other things. So the rough stone we will eventually have. We want to trade that off. And then same thing with the loose, what do they call it? Rubble stone. This one we can trade away. And then mortar we can produce. That's a minor trade. Although that doesn't really make sense to produce mortar to sell. It's the same price as rubble stone. Unless one rubble stone makes multiple mortar. Maybe it's like a 2 to 1. And then you would basically double. That actually would be really good if you could do that. We'll have to take a look at that. And then dress stone. This one we will have to buy. And then same thing, roof tiles. These 2 we'll have to buy the trade routes. But look at that. 4 and 5. That's quite a lot of money. So we should be fine here once we get these up and running. But like I said, infrastructure first, food, firewood so we don't starve. And then we'll start working on that. And then we'll have to import some iron after we run this dry so that we can afford all of our equipment. We also need water. So let's put one over here. And then we need a church. And that'll be just about everything they need to move up to level 2, if I remember correctly. So a church we can build And looks like we're short on supplies. Probably planks. Yeah, we don't have anybody in there yet. So let's get a little bit more population. Once we get some people moving in here, we'll be in good shape. Yeah, so we have two families in there. We have no families in there. So we'll be good once these are up. And we'll probably upgrade these. Yeah, let's get that duplex so we can get more people in. And one thing they did change that I noticed is these only supply a certain amount. Before, I think it was just infinite. Whoever can get to it would supply. Now I believe it's 20. Let's take a look. 15 burgage plots. You can, however, upgrade it, and it takes it up to 50. And it's not a very expensive upgrade. It's just a couple of planks and some chipstone or whatever that's called. So not really that big of a deal, but something to keep in mind. You do have to manage that a little bit more than you did before. Let's go ahead and occupy our saw pit and get that person employed. And what we want to do is produce enough planks, but not overproduce. So I think 50, probably less than that, it's okay, but I prefer to have 50 because we are going to be producing shields. We're going to be producing spears. All these things are going to use planks. And then obviously we need some other things like upgrading these. These use just a little bit of planks. Our church. So let's get that going. One of the first upgrades I would recommend doing is upgrading your storehouse. Because if you look here, it's almost maxed out. So we don't want that. And we just need a little bit more planks and then we can do that. But you can see here, it's pretty much maxed out now. So we'll get that. You could also build another one and start to specialize them. But in the early game, I don't think it really makes that big of a difference. Let's just take this up. Right now it's 25 or 250 storage. Upgrading this takes it up to 2,500. So 10x. I think it's probably worth it to upgrade this first instead. Let's also start upgrading our vegetable garden. We have a little bit of cash coming in. We're up to 58. I don't know. Oh, there's another bandit camp. So we got 2 bandit camps to deal with. We should probably do that somewhat soon. And yeah, if we do that, we can start producing some of our troops. The retinue, we can use those. We got another family moving in. So we're coming along here. This is actually pretty fast. I feel like they made this start easier in this patch than previous patches. This feels smoother. Now, when you go to upgrade your veggie plot, and same thing with the fruits, you have 3 options now. You could do beetroots, cabbage, or carrots. And then the fruit, I'm trying to remember, it's quince, pears, and apples, I think it is. So the only difference between these two is how long it takes them to grow and how much the yield they produce. So this one, you'll get more food more frequently, but you're going to take more. It's a lower yield, and that basically means you're going to have more labor, but it also costs a lot less. So only 40 gold, 64 gold, and 96 gold for the cabbages. In general, I would probably rather get the cabbages and just save up for that, because I don't really see a whole lot of use in doing something it does the same purpose, but it's producing a lot less. I guess the benefit is if you're really hurting for food and you need it right now, you could do that. But I would just save up for this. You're going to get more food for the same amount of land and for less labor involved. So let's wait for that. Also, we need a church at some point. Might as well just do it now. So we're going to put it right over here so that it's kind of out of the way, but not too far from the houses. So everybody's going to go pray at the church once in a while. And so you kind of want it fairly centrally located, but it's no production involved. So you don't want it in the middle taking up valuable resource or valuable real estate. So we'll put it right here. And then, like I said, this woodcutter will probably relocate at some point, and then we can have this whole area right here, and then this area to be production. Now, one thing that is also new for this patch, or at least, I don't know, I've never seen it before, so I don't know when they added it, but the AI is building their own towns. So this is one of them. You can see they've got already some veggie plots out, decent amount of housing, a church. Yeah, so they're moving along pretty quickly. Trading post. So they're doing all right. What about this other town? Looks pretty similar. Church. Yeah, they've got all the usual stuff. And then finally, this one. This is a tiny piece of land. Look at how small this is. So these guys are going to be landlocked for sure. And then what do they have? They have salt and eel. At least this isn't like a farmland. If this was farmland, you'd be screwed because you couldn't build any houses. You'd be covering up all your farmland. But anyways, pretty interesting there. Actually, yeah, these two are going to be valuable if we want to try and take one, but which one would be even more? So wild animals is okay for food, but it also produces a trade resource, so that's decent for money. whereas this one is the same thing. Okay, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Probably just take the one that's closest so that it's easier to transport stuff. So ideally we would take this, but I think it's probably good if we take the land in between first and then hopscotch our way over there. So we'll try to take these two, maybe all three, get everybody landlocked. We don't want them to have any land to expand to, and then we'll take this. But one more thing I forgot to mention, they changed the perks. So there's no more perks, they just have development points. Now all these are blocked except for the first one. So you can't do any of these except for this one. You do have environment. So these basically give bonuses depending on what your land is comprised of. So you can see there's a little bit of meadows, or what do they call this? Yeah, meadow, woodland. There's no farmland. There's very little rural and no urban here yet. But if we were to build more, it would give us certain bonuses. Now, because we're going to be mostly focusing on industry, well, actually, yeah, we don't have farmland, so we don't need to worry about this too much, but these do help your yield for the backyard extensions as well. So you could see crops, orchards, and vegetables. So having this would be kind of nice. This helps with pigs, I believe, yeah, wild animals and berries. We don't have good of that, so we just have the regular. And then the bark gathering, tannery yield increase proportional to woodland. Yeah, I don't think that's really that big of a deal. So I don't really mind losing a lot of the woodlands and then maybe converting it over to meadows. This would help us actually a decent amount because we will be using this, although that's not really that big of a deal. Farmland is not going to be important, but rural, I don't think there's anything associated with rural yet, but urban there is. Increase the durability maintenance for urban buildings equal to urban environments. So if we have more urban, then we have less maintenance. So if you see, a lot of these will require some maintenance in terms of how many tools you have. So they will use the tools throughout the year, and when they break, you got to build new ones or trade for them. So if you have more urban, then you have less maintenance. Not really that big of a deal. I think it's probably more important to get pollination up, because you can see here, pollination on this burgage plot extension, currently affecting 33%. So we'll get a little bit of a bonus. Anyways, back to work. Let's get this built. Church is done. So we'll start getting the benefits of that. So church access, water, fuel, foraged goods, vegetables or grains. And then over here, it's going to be meats, fish, animal produce. Yeah, that's not really going to help us too much, is it? Yeah, this guy's getting meat. These guys are getting meat, fish, and animal produce. So some of these don't overlap, I believe. I don't know which. I think fruit counts for this one. Like if we look over here, what food is available? So there is actually a little bit of meat available, but they're not grabbing it for some reason. Yeah, we can't upgrade people until they qualify, and they need to have all these. Oh, somebody just snatched our food. Anyways, we need to make sure everybody qualifies before we upgrade their burgage plot. So we could do this. Actually, we should. And then we can start earning some regional wealth per family. It's not that much, but it does add up if you get a decent amount of them. Most of our money is going to come from this right now anyways. Yeah, let's just focus. So we have a lot of workers, and there's a lot of work to do. I also built a mining pit over here. Let's start extracting this, and then we can start making some more weapons, because right now we have enough spears and shields to create one spear militia, but we're going to need more than that, obviously. I'd rather get one full group, so up to 36, and this iron is more than enough to accommodate that. But we're going to need to convert these guys over, so we will upgrade them. Oh boy, they don't have any food now. What is going on with these dudes? There should be plenty of food in here. Yeah. One thing we can do is allow overstock. So we'll do that, and that makes it so that even when people are taking it, there's an overage, so there will never be a shortage. You just need to have more food than is required to do that. So that, I think that's probably all right. Yeah, we would avoid having this situation pop up if we allow overstock. So anyways, let's get that going, and we'll start taking some of the iron out of the ground. We'll convert it over, and then we'll figure out what to do from there. I'm also going to allow the sale of rubble stone. We have too much of it right now. Well, yeah, we probably have too much. We'll maintain a level of 30. Everything above 30 will sell. It's not going to provide a lot of cash, but it is something. And this guy at the trading post doesn't have a whole lot of work to do, because he's only pulling pelts here once in a while. So that'll generate a little bit extra revenue. We're almost there to where we can plant the cabbages. We need another 26. And you can see our food, we only have 5 months of food left, so we are starting to run low. We got to be careful here. We could always trade for a little bit more if we need to, but I think we should probably avoid that if we can help it. So let's focus on getting some more stuff sold. so that we can put the cabbages in the ground and then start getting some food from that. I'm also going to set up a bloomery. This is going to convert this iron ore into the iron slabs, and the iron slabs can be turned into tools or they can be turned into weapons. So we'll get that going. Probably won't need them just yet. We don't have a whole lot of population to convert. Once we turn these guys into actual artisan shops, we cannot use their labor anymore. They have to stay as artisans, so got to be careful when you upgrade those. But we need at least two. We need one for the shields, so we need a joiner's workshop, and then we need one for the blacksmith. Where are you? This one, blacksmith. So these two. I'm also going to build a lime kiln. I don't quite understand how this one works, so we'll have to take a look. I want to say it probably converts rough stone into mortar, or yeah, rubble stone into mortar. Probably like a 1-to-2 ratio or something. So every one stone you get 2 mortar out of it. That would be my guess. And if that's the case, we should definitely not be selling the rough stone. The rubble stone, we should be selling only the mortar, because we'll get double the efficiency. Although it's probably good to sell both so that we can cover the market on 2 products instead of just the one. So I don't know, we'll figure it out. But yeah, let's see. Does it tell us? Yeah, it doesn't tell us. We'll have to watch it. If we get somebody working here. Okay, here we go. Somebody's working on it. So they've got 1 rubble stone. And it looks like he's grounding it, or pretending to ground it. See what pops out. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. 1 rubble stone becomes 2 mortar. So what we will probably want to do here, we can maybe scale this. Oh wow, we have a lot of rubble stone. We'll probably just leave it alone then. Yeah, it's gonna flood. It's gonna flood our storehouse, but that's all right. We can convert it, and then we'll sell the mortar. Let's go ahead and get the mortar trade set up. We will keep maybe 10 export. We'll keep 10 because I think that's what you need to upgrade the church. I don't even know what else you need it for. My guess is you would need it for a castle, but anything above and beyond that, we would just sell. Also, we have enough to upgrade our cabbage, so let's go ahead and do that. And then we definitely need to upgrade these if we can get them. Yeah, they're just not getting enough meat. Pretty low on food, actually. That's a bit concerning. Maybe we went too big, but I think we'll be all right. Anyways, let's get through the winter time. We're just going to stack up some cash. We'll upgrade a bunch of these. This one needs to get ready for vegetable garden as well, so we'll start working on that. And then we'll come back in a minute when there's something to cover. One thing we can do while we're waiting for winter to end is take out these bandit camps. So let's head over here. We don't want to fight on our territory because the dead bodies will cause some issues with our population. So what we want to do is try and draw them away. We get less morale fighting not on our own home territory, but that's not that big of a deal. These guys should be able to handle it. And you can see they're already coming after us. So let's quickly get over here. And then we want to set up a shield wall. We got 1 straggler back there. That's fine. So shield wall. We'll keep him in defensive form. And then we should be fine here. There we go. And we should see them drop without us losing anybody, preferably. No, we lost 2. What the heck? Wow. Okay, we lost 2 people there. I did some test runs of this before I loaded this up, and I've never lost anybody doing that. So, pretty unfortunate luck there. Let's go clean this up, and then we got to take the other one and get back before winter ends. And then what we'll probably do is get our manor house up so we can get those extra troops, the retinue. And then we can use them to help out with some of these fights. So we could send the money to the town, or we can keep it in our treasury. It's kind of hard to get money in your treasury, and it's not too hard to get money from your town. So that's, we'll put it that way. So let me come over here. We'll clean this last group up all the way over here, and then we'll head back home. And another bandit camp just popped up as we were leaving the area. So we'll have to come back and deal with it another time. I think we would be better off getting our troops a little higher, the troop count. Yeah, the more people we have, I think the better we'll fight. So we got some people that are going to raid us at some point in the future, but not really a concern right now. Now it is March. We have to get back, start collecting food. We have to get ready for that. All right, here we go. I think this time, let's go shield wall, defensive, and as soon as they reach us, I'll switch over to offensive. Here we go. Switch it to offensive, and then hopefully they do a better job. Good. That looks much better. Yeah, we didn't lose anybody that time. So leaving them on defensive, not a good idea unless you're trying to just delay as long as you can until your archers or somebody else can flank. But just straight up one-on-one, I think it's probably best not to leave them in defensive mode. Here we go. Take that, and let's head back. Now that gave us 203 treasury and 720 influence. If we take this out, that should be more than enough to claim our first region, so we should probably do that soon. But right now, we really do need to get our food back. You can see here the berries are starting to come in, and our wild animals are not being collected. I'm assuming that's because the woman does not go hunt. I think only the men hunt. Yeah, so she'll transport, but will not fight. Okay, anyways, we should be good here. Let's get back to work. So we don't need to keep people in the mining pit. We can get them out, and then during the winter time we'll shift people back and forth based on what we need. But let's get somebody over here in the forger hut. I think one should be more than enough. And then we have some extra laborers, but we'll probably no, we don't, because we're gonna plant these, which is gonna, it shows available laborers, but they're probably gonna come back here and plant. So that will help. We have 2 veggie plots now, so that's going to be huge. We shouldn't starve. And then we should probably work on getting another family in here and upgrading one for the fruit. So we need to get a fruit farm going. I think it's probably time to start looking at these perk points, or the development points. So origins, we need to figure out which one we want. So we are going to be using a lot of mining. So we have both the clay pit and the stone pit. So something that would boost those would be helpful. It also would be nice to have something that reduces ore import value. So you can see here, this one reduces ore import by minus 30%. So that'll make it cheaper for us to import ore. However, that's not maybe the best one. I think it might actually be better just to stick to the more efficient mining. So there's 2 that I'm considering. The Strasbourg Masons. This is going to increase the stonemason station by 30%, reduce castle planner cost by 30%, improve stone gathering by 30%, and the downside is hunting and fishing minus 20% speed. Hunting is not really a big deal because we only have a small, what do you call it, the non-rich, so it depletes very fast. So minus 20% isn't really going to slow that down much. The other one that I'm considering is this one, Wieden Hinterlanders. So efficient farming at elevation is kind of wasted because we're not doing any farming here. Cheaper animal imports could be helpful. So it makes it cheaper to get sheep and stuff in here. We could definitely use that. We could use some sheep here because that could be another food source. It's also a source of clothing and some other things. This one also increases mining speed for everything. So deep mine and the mining pit. So both our clay extraction and the stone extraction will be faster. And the only downside is artisan workshops are 20% slower. I don't think that's that big of a deal, to be honest. I feel like usually their work speed is not the bottleneck. Usually the bottleneck is the input goods. So I don't know that this is that big of a deal. So it's kind of between these 2, Strasbourg and Wieden Hinterlandes. I don't know which one is the better one here. My gut says probably the Wieden. This would help both of our industries, and it would also make it cheaper to get animals because those sheep are very expensive to bring in. Very, very expensive. So that would definitely help when we're trying to expand that industry, but it would also help both mining at the cost of slower artisans. But like I said, I don't think that's that big of a deal. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this one. We'll do Wieden Hinterlandes, increases the speed, makes our animals cheaper. So let's keep going. Let's start upgrading these burgage plots while they have the required materials to do so. So I think we'll do 3, 6. Do we need all of them? If we have the stuff, we might as well just do it. Let's just do all 6. And that will negatively impact our approval a little bit, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. We'll get them happy once we get a more advanced town. But for now, we just need to be able to upgrade them to the artisan shops. And so that should help. This should solve most of our food issues, I'm pretty sure, once they start collecting these. You can see right now our food is still kind of low, 5 months. It's not great, but it's also not terrible. As long as we can get a little bit of harvest here before the winter time, then we should be fine. But if we look at here, and yeah, we got upgraded to a large village, but like I said, you can't use these yet, so it's not really helpful to go past the first one. I think you do, well, I don't know if he changed it or not. I know it used to be your tax would be based on the level of your town times the people, how many population you have. Now maybe it's just people. So I don't know if there's a downside to upgrading, but yeah, there's definitely no upside to upgrading up here. Not yet anyways. Let's also get started on one of these orchards. So this one is going to have a plus 500% planting cost. We want that to be nice and high. These were 100%. We want this to be much bigger because obviously the fruits, they don't require quite as much labor. So that's what it was. Perfect. Let's go ahead and build it. I know we're kind of low on food, but we should be fine once this harvest comes in. And I do want to get the fruits going because that is going to help placate these guys that need another food source after this. So you can see animal produce and fruits. So they can use fruits to satisfy this. Here we go. We've got our house built and we've got the upgrade. So you can see here, as I said, it is very expensive. So we can make quinces at 180, apples at 360, and pears at 540. It's the same thing. We'll get less yield the cheaper you go, and more yield the more expensive you go. So we'll probably just save up and do pears. And it takes 4 years to reach full maturity, but it is a high yield. So we'll probably go for that. And let's do a little bit of housekeeping here. So we don't want these guys to just produce everything infinitely. So if we're going to keep 10 and we want to sell about 50 at a time, let's push this up to 70. That'll give us 60 to sell. Usually you do stacks of 50. Actually, it looks like they do more than that now. They stock more in here. That's fine though. 70 should be fine. We don't, because you can see here, it's starting to take over our inventory and we don't really want to do that. So we'll do the same thing here with the stone gathering camp. Can we? Oh, we can't. Interesting. So we have to do this one manually. We're running out of stone actually. So let's put somebody back in there. Does that open it up? It does not. Yeah, so we can't limit how much we collect, unfortunately. So it's just going to have to flood the storehouse. But what we'll probably end up doing is creating a separate storehouse that only collects the stone, the chip stone, rubble stone, and then we can manage it that way. So it doesn't completely flood this and drown everything else out. Now, one thing, we have a bloomery. We're starting to run low on tools, and we don't want to do that. But I also don't want to use all of our iron. Let's see. We don't want to use all of it for tools, but let's go ahead and make a tool shop, a smithy. And then we'll limit that to maybe 5. We'll produce up to 5 and everything else we'll keep as... did we not? We did not produce anything yet. That's fine. We'll do that in a minute. We need to convert the iron ore into slabs, and then the slabs can go into tools. And then the tools, we have only 2 left. And you can see this one uses tools. The mines use tools. We also need to start making clay and roof tiles, so we should probably work on that soon so we can start selling it. Because that's going to be a huge boost to our regional wealth. We're going to need it if we're going to be importing a lot of iron. Because, like I said, we only had 115 or 117 to start with. So not a lot. Yeah, so we'll turn this on, the smithy, and we'll go up to 10 tools. We'll just leave it at 10. I think that's reasonable. So we'll use up some of this iron ore. And then we do need to start getting these guys ready. I don't want to... Well, are we getting food from these? We did. Yeah, we're starting to get our veggies coming in. So that's really good. So cabbages... And you can see our food, our months remaining for food supply is going to go up quite a bit. Let's go ahead and upgrade this to a duplex and get another family in here. And then we'll have some more labor to throw around. We're going to need to take that labor out of the market so that we can upgrade these backyard extensions. Like I said, we need a joiner workshop and we need a blacksmith. And then we'll start producing more weapons and get this guy fully outfitted. Yeah, it's just not enough. All right, we've got tools, so we should be good. Now we need to start upgrading these. We have 4 extra unassigned families, and we only need 2 right now to do this. So let's go ahead and build a joiner's workshop and the blacksmithy right next door. And then once these are done, we'll start producing weapons. Once we have enough weapons, we'll go clear out these bandit camps. There's another one that just showed up. So we can go back to back, take these 2 out. We'll take the cash, and then we will also... Let's get this guy up and running, the manor. Where do we want to put this? It'd be interesting to build a walled fortification around this whole area, but I don't know that that's necessary. Like I said, I do kind of want to build a castle, but I also don't want to waste resources on something that's never going to get used. The combat in this game is a little funky because you have to fight around a circle, and that circle is, the odds of it being on top of your castle is very rare. So, I don't know. I didn't have luck with it in the previous patches where I would build a wooden fort and they would rarely get used. So I think we'll probably just put it somewhere convenient. It doesn't really matter that much, to be honest. We'll put it over here on the edge, because there's not much we can build over here anyways. So we'll just put it up here. Right, looking at this now, we are producing a lot of cabbage, actually. Probably more than we can use, so we might want to increase our population here. Let's go ahead and do that. We'll increase this. So expand our duplexes. And then it's going to go even higher once this thing gets up and running, the pairs. But we're still pretty far off. So why don't we use our extra labor here to get another source of income? I think that would be the right call here. Let's get mining operation. And what we want to do is make it so that we can get 4 of these things. Maybe you can even do more. I feel like they made it easier to place these things now. But 4, usually I don't end up making more than 1 or 2 of the clay. If you have a deep mine for iron, you usually want to maximize it and get like 4 or 5 if you can. But I think the clay, we probably only can build 1 anyways. So let's get that running. Right now we need to configure our joiner's workshop. I should have been watching that, so I don't know what we were producing yet, but set it to large shields, 2 planks for 1 large shield. We'll go up to 50, and then at some point we'll start selling them, maybe down to 30. We want to make sure we have enough to do replacements and have a regiment in there. I think 50 is a good number though. And then for the blacksmith, we automatically start producing shields or spears, so that's perfect. Now this one's, you get a good ratio. 1 iron slab and 1 plank produces 2 spears. That's actually really good. So spears are a lot easier to produce compared to what they used to be. You can see a lot of these other ones. 1 iron slab and 1 plank as 1 polearm, or 2 slabs for 1 sidearm. So very, very iron intensive. You basically get 4 to 1 in terms of iron if you're to build spears versus the sidearms. So we'll just keep it with the spears for now. And again, we're just going to produce up to like, I don't think we have enough to make that many, but you know, let's do the same thing. We'll just leave it at 50. We'll sell the excess. Actually, no, we don't want to sell the excess because it probably will not pencil out. If we do the math on how much it costs us to import the iron ore, turn it into spears and sell it, it probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let me look at that right now. So iron ore is imported for 11. It's only 1 to sell, 11 to import. So if we start with a base cost of 11 and then we sell the spears for 2 each, so you buy it for 11 and then you sell it for 4, you would lose money for sure. So yeah, that's not going to work. We could definitely sell the shields because those are free, essentially. Yeah, that doesn't seem very balanced. I feel like the shield shouldn't be worth as much as the spear, but maybe... Because you can get planks literally anywhere on the map. Whereas these, you can only get infinitely if you get lucky and you have a infinite iron. So that might be off by a little bit. But anyways, we're good. We need the weapons. We're not going to sell them anyways. Let's just get that production line going. Let's also get another one of these to produce fruit. So we're definitely not going to upgrade it because we don't have the cash. And it's probably way too much food, but we'll just get ready for future expansion. Same thing here. We don't need to upgrade these anytime soon, but we'll at least have them ready to go when the time comes. And then we need more people anyways, so we'll be able to use the population. So we are still waiting for people to immigrate. This one needs to get filled. This one will have 2 more. So that'll be decent enough. We can probably start the mining pit and then start producing some of these tiles, which I think I'm just going to put the tile maker right next to it. And then hopefully they can grab some from there. Yeah, I don't know that we're necessarily going to be storing the clay. We could sell it at some point, but I think for now, let's just disallow clay. I think that makes sense. And then he'll just grab it from the pit. And that way we're not flooding this, because this one's already half full. So here we go. Our manor is finished. We do have some retinue that we start with, but we can also spend some of our money to upgrade them. Oh, nice. And our spear militia is up to 30. That is big. But we could also upgrade our retinue. So same as before, you start with 5. They're not upgraded. I'm going to upgrade these guys every chance we get because I don't want to have to replace them. If they get killed, it's 50 gold down the drain. Whereas if we upgrade them and kind of play with them somewhat cautiously, they can take a decent amount of punishment because of the amount of armor that they have. So that should be fine. Now to buy and upgrade one completely is going to be 76. We don't quite have enough, so we'll need to start taxing our people here if we want to make money, but we don't want to extract wealth from the region until we can get our food completely sorted out. So we need pears. Yeah, we're way far behind, so we need to start selling some of this expensive stuff here soon. Oh, one other thing we should be doing right now is converting firewood into charcoal. I didn't do it earlier because labor was more important than preserving resources, but now that we've got a decent amount of stuff stockpiled, we have 46 months, so obviously that's enough. We want to start producing charcoal. And a lot of these industries that we're using require refueling, which means we will blow through our firewood pretty quickly. So if we convert to only using charcoal, I think that would be the right call. And that'll give us some efficiency with labor. You could also sell it, but I think it sells for the same. Yeah, it sells for the same, but for every 1 firewood, you get 2 charcoal. So kind of like the lime kiln, it's better to not sell the raw firewood and just sell the charcoal instead. So, but anyways, let's get a charcoal kiln. Where do we want to put this thing though? I don't think it matters too much. We could always take it down and rebuild it somewhere else as well if this is not like a good spot for it. Yeah, I'll just put it right here. We'll relocate it later. I don't want to think too much about it because there's other things that are much more important than where to locate that. I'm also going to increase our cap here for planks. Let's take it up to 100 because we do have a lot of things using planks at this point. So I think that'd be a good idea. Let's start extracting here from the clay. And we'll start using the clay furnace as well. And just to double check, we turned this off. We did. So we shouldn't have clay in this area. Yeah, perfect. So they'll only get clay tiles. And actually, we might want to use some of our regional wealth to buy a trade route here. So roof tiles sell for 4, and it's going to cost us 40 to be able to do that. But that's not really a big deal because we'll make that after just 10 of these things getting sold, and we're going to produce a lot of them. Anyways, let's build up a little bit of stockpile here, and then we'll start selling it. We'll pay for a trade route. I don't want to spend money too much until we can get this up and running, the pairs, but I think it's probably worth it because we'll get there faster if we sacrifice a little bit now. I'm going to start upgrading all of these as well. It seems like they all have enough supply. Well, this person's short, but just about everybody else does, so that's fine. As we can, we'll upgrade everybody to tier 2. Now, tier 2, you can produce more regional wealth just by having them there every month, but also, even more importantly, is they can equip better equipment. We need to buy some gambeson, or we need to produce gambeson, so we'll probably end up doing that as well. All right, it's winter time. There's not a whole lot else going on here. We've got pretty good supply of just about everything. Let's go ahead and back some of these people off. So we probably don't need the stone. We don't need the lime kiln for a while. Didn't we? Yeah, we cut them off. I don't know if they're still producing. No, they have not been producing. That's good. I just have left them in there like an idiot. So now what we probably need to do is go take out these bandits before they start taking the rest of our stuff. So we have 34 soldiers now. 34 militia, that's really good. And then also, we can get these boys out, the heavies, and we'll go in 2 groups. We'll have our shield wall in the front, and then the heavies will come flanking in the back. Oh, here they all come. Here we go. Let's get them out. And we want these guys to be in shield wall. Here they come. So shield wall, defensive, and we'll leave them in lines of 2. Well, 2 deep, and then we'll get our other guys in the back. We'll leave them on offensive so that they be nice and aggressive. They'll come crashing in. We'll go around and just flank them. There they go. They're committed. These guys can move. And then we'll charge in. There we go. We shouldn't take any losses here. Perfect. And then we'll move on and take the next camp, which is right next to that one. Go. We got 96 gold for that. Get up here and take out this last one. And we don't need our main spears to stay here to take the camp. Once they're done fighting, we'll send them back so they can get back to work. Can't have the peasants dilly-dallying, as they say. Here we go. They're in. Let's get them to charge. No losses again. Perfect. Let's get these guys over here to take the camp. These guys can go back home and get back to work. That is going to be another 120. That's a lot of money. So let's send these guys back as well so that we can get them upgraded. We can give them a few more troops. And then also, expand them. They're good to go. Also, we have enough influence to take another region, so we should probably do that. And we'll just take the one right next to us. So, Krume Leita, I think that's how you pronounce it. Probably not, but I did my best. So, this area, I don't know that we're going to need to build a whole lot of settlements here. I mean, there's not much here for us. So, fish and rich berries, we're going to have food pretty much in good control here. This would be decent for building a large population, but not much else. There's not a lot of industry we can do here that we don't already have down here covered. This one in the middle, though, does have more stone, which we're already selling, so I guess that's kind of a bust as well. And then the mushrooms, just another food type. So yeah, kind of a bust on both of these. I don't know that we'll build them up too much, if any at all. But for sure, once we get up here, we need to build this quickly and then stop importing the iron. We still have a little bit to extract from the earth, but once that's done, we will want to import some. But anyways, let's get back to work here. We are trying to get our clay industry going. So clay tiles, think we're actually doing okay. And then how are we doing on money? 316, a couple more hundred, and then we'll be able to upgrade this. There we go. We claimed the region, Krumelete, and like I said, we're probably not going to build anything on it right now anyways. We'll just leave it alone for now. All right, let's go disband these guys, and then let's start upgrading them again. So we want to increase the number, upgrade them. So if we do that, we don't have enough to do anymore. So we got 5 fully upgraded retinue. And then we need one more family to be able to fill out the spear militia to the max. So we're almost there. We got another bandit camp, and the snow is starting to thaw. We should probably deal with that now before we get caught up in the year with collecting food and all that stuff. So let's do that right now. Ooh, we got raiders coming too, actually. Let's see where they're coming from. They are... Oh, they are here already. Yeah, they spawned in our territory. That's good though. We already have our troops out. So let's get back here and defend. We'll defend over in this area. We're going to have to deal with dead bodies. So we'll probably have to put some people in the wooden church, or we will create a corpse pit. Corpse pit right here. Where do we want to put it though? Yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's deal with these guys first. All right, it looks like they're going to just go straight for our buildings. So we need to get over there and try to defend it. Yep, there's one group. There's a second group. Here we go. All right, we can't really do much else. Let's just charge in. We don't have good positioning here, so we just gotta hope that we don't lose people. These guys went way out there. Why are you out there by yourself, man? I hope they don't die. This guy's getting hit by 3 people. That's a lot of money that we lose if he dies. And there's another group coming here. Oh, that's so annoying. Why did they do that? This guy's way out of position. Dude, that's definitely not what I told them to do, but all right, let's try to pull him back. Get them to group up again. Really don't want him to die. I'd rather lose the peasants than lose the retinue, so that's fine. We'll get them back. Here we go. Yeah, you guys can fight here as a group. We got a nice big melee happening here right in front of our trade. We did lose a spear militia. 2 spear militia down. That's fine though, we have replacements. There we go, 1 down. Okay, get in there and help these guys. They should go down pretty fast here. Perfect, yep, they're down. Okay, now let's go take out that the bandit group. Okay, here we go. Yeah, let's go clear out that bandit group so we can get the money and get more troops. We also have enough to claim another region. Let's do that. So Rangbachau, Rangbachau, something like that. Let's head over here. Here they come. Yeah, they're just gonna charge straight into our shield wall. Well, we can't do shield wall in the woods, but they are on defensive. So yeah, there you go. They're broken. So let's go collect our money. Did that give us enough for another region? No, we're at 770, so not quite. But that's all right. We got 2 out of the 3 free ones. Maybe we'll get the other one. This is going to pay us another 120. That's pretty good. Let's get back here. We might not have enough for the full 12, but that's all right. We'll get at least another 2 or 3 out of here. Here we go. Rangbachau is now ours. That we're going to do anything with it, but whatever. And then let's go ahead and upgrade these guys before I forget. So 1, 2. We only have enough for 2 more. So we're at 10 out of 12, but they're fully armored. Let's take stock of what we're looking to do here. So food is okay for now. Fuel, obviously doing okay because we're converting all of our firewood over into charcoal. So that's good. We are just about out of iron. And how much tile? We have 28 roof tiles. We can start doing that trade, actually. Why don't we do that? So we're going to have to pay for it. 40. And that starts a trade route. We're going to export. We'll probably put this down to 10 for now. We'll increase that later. Because if I'm not mistaken, you need it still for this. Yeah, to go from Burgish plot 2 to 3, you still need tiles. And then we also need 10 for the church. But we don't have the cut stone yet. So we'll work on that soon. Yeah, let me actually delete this camp. And we'll just turn this into a mine. There we go. Quarry goods. What are we short? Oh, we don't have wood. All right, we'll get that soon. Anyways, let me keep working here. We got 1 family assigned to the church, and they're starting to bury all these bodies. Get them out of here. They don't completely ruin our approval. We're also having trouble getting wooden logs, so I'm going to build another logging camp over here. This one, they're starting to have to travel a little far to get their logs, but not a big deal. Having another one is always good. Anyways, when you don't use your logs and they start to pile up, you can only carry up to 28 in your timber storage. But if you have an empty logging camp, they'll actually use this as storage as well, even if you don't have laborers in there. So it's usually good to dot these around your region, and then they can start storing them all over the place. We can build more houses, and I'm going to keep these as singles because we don't need the extra room. We're going to have an extension in the back that's maybe a little bit bigger than it should be, but it's not that big of a deal. We'll waste a little bit more space. And what we'll probably build here is a mixture of things, maybe some animals, maybe apiaries, things like that. I put a second worker in the trading post so that we can get the rest of these supplies. For some reason, he wasn't able to get the roof tiles. So now that we've got a second person in here, we should be able to sell that off and make good money. We're very close. 540 is what we need. We're at 503. So we'll have that maybe by the end of this month or something. And then we'll start getting this planted June, July, August, September. So the first harvest for fruit is going to be in September. So if we can get it before then, that would be even better. And we probably don't need it just yet, but I'm going to do it preemptively. Let's get the granary leveled up to the second tier as well so we can have more storage. Literally off by a single regional wealth. So as soon as we touch anything that produces money, we're going to get it. So maybe next month. There it goes. Okay, so we can do it. 540, that is a very expensive one. Does it really matter which one we do it on? They're both going to cost 540. And they're both very close to the granary, so it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do this one. So there we go. They'll start planting seeds and stuff. Start planting those trees. And then in a couple years, I mean, it'll start producing right away, but in a couple years, it'll be really producing a lot of fruit for us. Now, I think the next important upgrade, there's a couple we can make. Right here, animal pen. This will provide meat or milk, chevron, and hides. So some stuff we can use for secondary products. The hides can get turned into leather, and then leather into clothing. Or shoes, maybe. Maybe it's shoes. Or we can do the apiary, which is going to increase the... what do you call it? It'll increase the output of these right here by increasing pollination. Yeah, you can see our pollination's actually gone down a bit. It was at 33%, I think. And now that we've chopped some stuff down, I think it's gone down. So we could do the apiary. They're a little expensive, 50 regional wealth. But it does provide honey and wax, which is used to sell. So you can't use honey for food anymore. Or we could do chicken coops. But like I said, I don't know that we really need the meat from this necessarily. I kind of would rather get the apiary up and then increase the output and the yield of these. So I'm going to try that. And then we can use the wax and stuff to pay. It'll pay for itself once we end up selling it. Yeah, every third yield provides wax. And then every month, I believe it provides some honey. But we still don't have a reliable source of food, of meat. You can see right here, meat and fish. Now, I think the best way for us to get meat is to import some animals and start using that for farming. We could use that for pastures. So I think that's probably what we'll end up doing. And where do we want to do that? We should figure that out. Maybe over in this area wouldn't be a bad idea. Because we do have some... well, no, because we kind of want it to be halfway. Because the sheep will actually produce yarn, which we can use for production. And then the meat, once we chop them up in the butcher shop, will go down here. So yeah, we'll probably try to do it somewhere in the midway point, something like this, maybe. We got a bandit camp that popped up here. Let's try and take that out. That'll probably give us enough influence to take the last region. Let me do that. I don't really want to pull my people off the workers. I'm wondering if we can handle it with just the 10 retinue. Might be a mistake. Let's try it. Hopefully they can handle it on their own. We'll send them out. All right, here they come. Let's go ahead and line up. We'll go defensive, stand our ground, and as soon as they meet, we'll push them forward, and we'll use push forward. Boom, we absorbed their charge. Now we'll start pushing them back. These guys should be able to handle it without any losses. 13, 12, they're doing great. Yep, there we go. Okay, so we got it. Without any losses. Perfect. We didn't have to interrupt our economy for that. Now, that is enough to claim this last region. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're starting to claim it. That means no more bandits, but that's fine. We can make our own money and our own influence. There we go. Send it to the treasury. That gives us 112, and we'll pump that back in and get one more of these retinue troops. A couple things here. Our mining pit is now empty here for the iron ore, so we need to delete this. We'll get rid of this road. We can reuse this area for something else in the future, but now this is all the iron we'll ever get from the land. We have to import the rest. But it looks like we're okay for now. I don't think we need to worry about it too much. Let's put somebody back in the smithy because we are starting to run low on tools. But in terms of weapons and shields, we're doing okay there. So I don't think we need to worry about that too much. Next thing, we probably want to kick into gear our tile production. I think that's going to be a good source of income here. So we'll put some more labor in there. I think we should probably start working on stone. Let's get a quarry here. And actually the quarry can fit exactly where we had our other one, the stone, what do you call this one? Stone gathering camp. So this one is not just going to give us rubble, but it'll also give us rough stone. And there, Oberdevice is now ours. So we own 4 pieces of land. But like I said, we probably won't use this for too much. This one is actually okay because we can get some of our own crops going. Particularly the barley is going to be helpful. And the flax. Emmer is okay. I mean, I think we have enough food for this other region for now. But barley for sure. And flax for armor and clothing. So we'll probably move into there at some point. I guess we'll just trade. I think we'll just keep trading for the stuff that we need for now. Let's get ourselves another retinue. Yeah, we don't have enough to do the purchase and the upgrade for the last one. So we'll wait for a little bit. Now, the other thing we should probably start doing soon is the pasture. Because these sheep are fairly expensive. But where do we want to set that up? I'm thinking, yeah, we need a livestock trading post first. So why don't we get that set up over here? It can live on the back side of this trading post. Actually, I changed my mind. Let me think about this for a sec, how I want to set this up. It doesn't really matter too much where the trading post is. It's more important that the pastures are in the right spot. So I want to make sure I'm doing this in a somewhat efficient way. It doesn't have to be min-max, but it at least has to make some kind of sense. Yeah, you know, let's keep it here. We'll keep it out of the way because, like I said, this is not a production building. It's just meant to import animals and then they get moved later to a pen. So the pen is really the important thing. And I think we'll probably put the pens somewhere in these areas right here. Probably up here. I think we'll do some pens. Yeah, because we have labor. We need to convert that into some kind of manufacturing and then a slaughter. We'll have to butcher them at the butcher shop. So one of these guys is going to have to go butcher shop. So production of mutton and hides from surplus livestock and sausages from salt and meat. We don't have sausages, so obviously we can't do that, but we can get the mutton and hides for sure. That'll be helpful. You know, the other thing we should do is increase the output of our trading post here. We can do that by ordering some horses. So why don't we do that? I'm going to put one person working here, and then we're going to import 2 horses. So we'll have somebody go grab them and bring them back. So we have stable space here. Means we don't have to build any more of these, the hitching posts. So since the trading post is right here, it's naturally, they'll sit here and wait until they are needed for the trade trips. So they'll carry only a certain amount of goods by hand, and if you give them a horse, they can draw a cart, which carries more. I think they move at about the same speed, but they do carry a significant more amount of goods, so that will increase our trading by quite a bit. Let's look at the trade cost here. So sheep and lambs. Sheep can be purchased for 26, or lambs for 20, and then these can be sold for 20. That's pretty expensive, actually. That's a lot. But yeah, we'll have to get some of each of these. Anyways, first thing first, let's get our horses. We'll start setting up some industry here to manage our livestock. Also, we are starting to get some pairs in. We only have 2, but at least it's better than 0. And then, like I said, next year we'll get a decent amount. You can see the trees go all the way back. These different colored leaves, they go all the way back here. So we should get a good harvest from that. And then as our food needs expand, we can expand these 2 for veggies and then this one for fruit. And then don't forget, we're going to get quite a bit from the meat as well. So I think food-wise, we should be good. Let's build a few more sets of housing here, and we'll keep them kind of close by to the granary because, like I said, I don't know which one we'll do yet. Maybe, yeah, I guess I should have thought about that first. Maybe the animal pen then, or the chicken coop. Yeah, the chicken coop wouldn't be a bad idea because that would satisfy some of the meat up until we get our other thing going. But if we do the apiary, I think that stuff needs to be stored in the warehouse. Let me double check. No, the wax does. And the honey, I would assume, goes in here then. Yeah, honey. We are starting to get rough stone. Wait, what happened here? Can you only get rough stone from here? What about the rubble stone? I might have goofed then if we can't get both of those. Okay, no, I take it back. You do get both. It's just they were moving the rubble stone faster than I was watching it. So we're getting both from it. That's fine. Now what we do need though is we need to convert that over. So if we come here to the workshops, we get a stone master's station, and that will convert the stone, the rough cut, into smooth. So why don't we get station to do that. And I don't think there's any need to keep these rough cut. Yeah, rough stone, there's no need, so we'll just let them convert everything as it comes in. But once that's up, we'll get that, and we could start selling some of that off. That's another item we could sell at the trading post. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do these as apiaries. Let's just do like maybe 3 or 4 of these. Get 4 of them. And then we have it set up at our trade post to sell all the products. So if you look here, honey sells for 4 and wax sells for 6. That's very expensive. So that'll actually make quite a bit of money once they're up. And like I said, another big thing is it will help the pollination, which increases that number. So here we go. So they're setting up the apiary. And then that should increase our pollination. So we'll have to take a look. We were at 28 or 29. It's now up to 37. And we'll see if that goes up even further when they're built, or if you get the bonus as soon as you click it up. Yeah, they do spend a little bit of time. That looks pretty cool. I like that. And they've got different models of it, looks like. Very cool. Okay, does that change this? 37. So it looks like it changes when you click it up. I wouldn't mind getting a few more of these actually. So let's get a few more apiaries. It's just going to give us more money. So the more money we put in now, the faster we'll increase that part of our economy. And then you can see here 39. So we're at 39% now. So we should see a decent increase here. If we go to our yield, it goes to 1.11, whereas before it was like 1.8 or something like that, 1.08, something like that. So a pretty good increase there. Oh, I see what it is. You can go up to the current effect of plus 10%. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These two are extras. Probably should just delete them and rebuild them, but I'll just leave it. It's fine because we'll make extra money from it either way. Yeah, so it looks like you cannot boost them any further, which makes sense. I mean, if it were me, I would just spam these and then have like 1 or 2 of these burgage plots that produce veggies and stuff, and that they'll probably end up producing like double if you just spam these, but not a big deal. Let's get our dressed stone production going, and then also we're done producing metal. Yeah, we're done with metal slabs. We might want to import some iron here. We'll do it little by little, I think. So let's just go and import, and let's just buy like 20 pieces. So that'll be 200. Oh man, that is so expensive. Yeah, that is very expensive. 220 for 20 pieces of iron. But it's okay. We need it so we can continue to produce our tools, and we'll just have it sitting in storage until we need it, and then we'll micromanage that. So, all right, anyways, back to it. And we are starting to get stone in, the dress stone, so we can put that into the wooden church. So once we get 20 of these, we can upgrade that. And we can start upgrading these. We don't need stone for that, but we do need the tiles. We need to get actually quite a bit more stuff. We need to produce alcohol. We need clothing of some kind. The food we should be able to fix pretty soon, I think. Right, and are these actually producing stuff? Yeah, so they're producing honey. And like I said, I don't think the honey will go in here. Yeah, it just immediately gets snatched up and sold, which is fine. I'd rather not sell it, to be frank. If you look at what it sells for versus what the other food sells for, it doesn't really make sense to sell it. Like everything is 1 to 3, and then honey sells for 4. So yeah, you'd be better off just selling it and then overproducing some of these other things. All right, the snow's starting to thaw. Let's go ahead and spend some of our resources here upgrading the church. And we put somebody back on to collect berries. And the only thing we have left is our cabbage. So the cabbages are really pulling their weight here. I think we should also sell dressed stone. So let's go ahead and export it. We'll have to wait till we have a little bit more money. You know what? I haven't even looked what it costs to build stuff in the castle. So let's see if we come here. I'm gonna have to do some more research here because I don't see the option to build anything. Just the usual stuff. Maybe build it and then upgrade them? That might be the case. Yeah, I'll have to mess with it later. That's all right. Let's get back to it. Church is done. So that's the upgraded church. And on these guys that are level 2, you can see they're now satisfied from the church. So we still need a lot of stuff. We need to get alcohol, animal produce, which we'll be doing soon. Well, actually fruit satisfy that as well. So once this thing's online and kicking out a bunch of fruit, we should be good. We won't know that until September though. Yeah, getting more meat is going to be pretty important here, I feel like. So why don't we start setting up some meat production? And I think in this case, we'll just do the pigs. Don't really care about getting the hides yet. Maybe we can satisfy that from the import animals, the sheep and stuff. There we go. All right, so these are ready. The pigs cost 22. So because we have that perk that reduces them, makes it cheaper. So that'll help. Let's get a bunch of pigs. Here we go. So we've got pigs. We should be producing some decent meat from here. Don't remember the production rates. I'm pretty sure he's changed it. So we've got plenty of money. We've got labor, spare labor. So let's start working on the animals. Yeah, I think I've decided to just put them in here. I think that's the right call. So what we need is, we need pastures. We need a sheep farm. And this is where all the action happens. And then we can put the pastures out here. I think it's probably a good idea if we have it maybe away from this main road, because I'd like to keep this for more stone production. What we might end up doing is increasing our production here for dressed stone and roof tiles, and I'd like to have some room for that. So we could put it back here. This is not a bad area for it actually, because it's still very close to the large storehouse. We could do some of that over here. We can also put this one right here, the weaver's workshop. We can put that right in here. Actually not a bad spot for it. And then just be a little back alley, and then we could fit another 1 or 2 buildings right here without having to lose this space. So here we go. Let's get our sheep farm back here. Pastures we'll put back here. Now I remember reading something about making them long, thin strips as being more efficient. Something like that. Just back them up against the mountain here. That'll give us room for 70. We can expand these later as needed, but I think that should be good for now. And then this guy needs to start importing, and we'll start spending our money. So let's go ahead and import. Do we want to import sheep or lambs? It's going to make it cheaper if we do the lambs, but that'll be longer before they're able to start producing stuff and reproducing. I think let's just do, we're not really in a big rush, so let's just maybe start with 10 lambs. It'd be 200. Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll start with 10 lambs. So he's going to head off map here, or she actually. It looks like the wife's doing it. 2 of them, they're going to go grab animals, come back, and then they'll start putting them in the pastures up here. Now we're also going to need to do something with that yarn that we produce. So up here, we're going to be producing yarn, and I believe, what can we do with the yarn? I think we can do the tailor workshop. So we can produce clothes or cloaks, one of the two, but that'll satisfy clothing. And then we could also sell the excess. We don't have leather for shoes, so it's going to have to be this one. We'll build it later. I'd rather keep the labor available. Also, I think we can afford to start taxing people, so let's go ahead and bump this up to maybe like 2 to 5%. Start with 2. We don't need a lot of money. Actually, no, let's go 5. Yeah, it's a pretty small. It's only -4 approval, and our approval's already at 70, so -4 is not going to really change it that much. But that'll allow us to increase our retinue, which we need to do. We need to increase by 2 more. No, 1 more. And then we need to increase the size of the manor. Actually, why don't we do that while we're waiting? We can put a garrison tower. Just put it right next to that. So that will increase. There we go. So we'll build that out. That'll increase the limit of our retinue to 24. So as our taxes come in, we can increase that even further as well. We're starting to get some of the pig meat. The pork is in here. And we should see that propagate through. Or maybe not. Where's that pork going? Just a couple of these houses close by. Yeah, I think we need more production, but we're going to have some coming in soon from the pasture, so I don't want to overproduce. Once these guys are old enough and they start reproducing, yeah, these lambs, I think in a year or so they'll turn into adults, and then they can start spitting some offspring out, and then we'll start filling up these pastures. But I wouldn't mind having a few more pigs, but we don't really have a lot for them to do. We still have 5 laborers, and they're not really doing much. So let me think how we can do this. I guess we could sell some more stuff, but we already have a lot of regional wealth. Not that it would hurt to have more. Actually, speaking of which, let's get our 12th soldier here. So we've got 12 retinue there. What we could work on, actually, is getting some equipment here. So I wouldn't mind having one of these being an armorer. And then at some point, we'd hopefully get everybody up to the point where they can wear helmet and mail. We don't have the ability to make gambesons yet. Can you? I wonder if you can make gambeson from cloth. Right now, usually gambeson is 2 linen. I wonder if you can make it from yarn as well, though. I don't think so. I think you have to have flax. Flax to linen, and then linen to gambeson. So unfortunately, we'd have to settle this area and then send some of that flax back. Right, the next thing I think we should do is just upgrade every burgage plot to level 2 that we can. So let's just go through, spend some of our resources here. We don't have enough meat, but you can see we are getting some meat here. Actually, it blocks it. But yeah, we were able to upgrade these because they are getting some of that pork. I need to keep a close eye on here and see how much pork we actually produce. Doesn't seem like it's a lot. All right, harvest season, we should start to see some pears coming in here. Let's keep an eye on this and see how many we get. So I think we had 2 last year. We should see a reasonably healthy harvest here. And I'm wondering if that helps here. Meat, fish, animal products. So no, it won't. It'll help these tier 2 houses. It'll keep them happy. Yeah, they're the main ones that use it. But we'll keep an eye on it and see how much they're producing. That's the end of the harvesting month. Looks like we got 62, which is not a lot, but keep in mind that's only the first full harvest, or the first full year where we can harvest. So it's going to go up over the next 4 years. So I don't know what it'll end up being, but it'll be quite a bit more than 62, I'd imagine. You know what I'm going to do is spend some of this money. Let's go ahead and get a second set of pears. And then also the cabbages. We could sell or trade the cabbages. So cabbage is worth 4. That's actually quite a bit. And then the pears are worth 6. Those things are very expensive. Wow. We're obviously not going to trade them. But the good thing is if we trade these to a settlement that we're trying to get something back from, we'll have a high value item to trade with. So for example, we can send pears here and then send back the flax, something like that. So maybe we start working on settling this area, I think. We're up to 149. We just need another 100 treasury and then we can start a region. We need 250 to start this area. Why don't we save up for that then? Idiot, I completely forgot. We didn't open the trade route for this, for our dressed stone. So we haven't actually been trading this the whole time. So let's get that started. I think everything else is probably okay. Yeah, if we want to import barley, it's going to be extremely expensive. 13, flax is going to be 11. It's just too much. So we should definitely produce our own. I don't mind importing the iron. If we import only one thing and produce everything else ourselves, I think that's pretty reasonable. So anyways, we'll start selling this. That should help quite a bit with our income. Not that we need it, but yeah, the sooner we get there, the better. And then also that money can be used to increase our retinue. So that'll get put to use there. But also one thing I want to, let's upgrade an armor. Let's get our armor workshop and then we're going to produce some helmets. That is going to use up a lot of our supply here, but that's okay because we can just add more. Yep, we'll just use some of our money and trade for more iron ore. So let's start working on that. Actually, what we should do is set our iron slab limit to maybe something like 20. Yeah, that makes sense. So if we set it to 20, that means we have 20 slabs to be able to produce tools, spears, which isn't going to take that much anyways. And then when we get the helmets ready, it'll be used for that as well. Can't remember if the helmets are 1 or 2 slabs per helmet. So they're not cheap. They are 2 slabs for 1 helmet. And then 3 slabs for 1 mail armor. So let's not produce more than, say, 10 helmets at a time. They're going to get reserved by troops anyways. But I just don't want to have a big supply of these sitting in storage. So we'll use up some of that. Yeah, that's going to be costly. Very costly. Actually, you know what? That brings up an interesting point. So if it's 2 slabs for 1 helmet, how much can we buy 1 helmet for? So 1 helmet costs 16. It's actually cheaper to import the helmet, right? Because think about it. If you need 2 iron ore to make 1, well, then we need to double check and make sure. Are we producing 1 slab for every ore that gets created? Is it 1 ore for 1 slab? And I believe it is, but let's just double check to make sure. Because if it's not, then we're going to have a problem. Right, it just spit out 1 iron slab. So it does actually look like it's only 1. So that was a mistake then. I didn't realize that they screwed up on their math. Because that doesn't make any sense at all. Right? You have to spend more materials and more labor to buy something that's more advanced. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The only downside here is that we have to pay for the trade route to open it. If we want to import these things. So that is something to consider, I guess. But yeah, it's way more expensive and you have to put labor into it as well. So I think armor will probably just delete, right? Because for the helmet, it's going to cost us 22 gold for 2 iron slabs. And it has to be processed by a bloomery. Then it has to be processed by the armorer shop. If we want to do mail armor, it's going to cost us 33. And that's probably not that much. Mail armor is 18. That's even cheaper. Wow. And then how much are the iron slabs? Iron slabs are 12. So it's slightly cheaper to buy the ore and then convert it. Yeah, that he needs to rebalance this. That's kind of stupid. I see why he would do it though, because if you make helmets worth, 30 or whatever, then you just make helmets and sell it and you make a killing. So I get that, but it just doesn't really make a whole lot of sense that it would be more expensive to import the base goods and produce it yourself as opposed to just buying the finished good. But anyways, it does make our job easier here. We just need to spend the 180. So what I'm going to do then is cancel this, delete that building. We'll rebuild it later. Somebody's going to be homeless for a day or two until we get this pile cleaned up. Let's just buy our own helmets then. So for 180, we open that trade route. We have 600 left. That's plenty. Let's go ahead and import, and we're going to go up to 10. And we'll just do it like that. I really wish there was a way to get rid of a backyard thing. Like you have to delete the whole building just to get rid of it. That doesn't make any sense. A sheep has died due to high elevation. It's not good. All right, so that's maybe not viable then. What happened? There is a development point that you can spend that makes it so sheep don't die. I guess we should have taken that one. I didn't realize. Yeah, sheep are more resilient. No longer die during winter months at high elevation. Huh. I didn't know that was going to be an issue. We'll have to see if these things survive or not. Let's pull this guy off. I don't want to buy new ones to replace. I want to see if they actually survive and reproduce enough to do that, or if it's just not sustainable up here. And how do I even know if it's high elevation or not? This one shows elevation. Ah, okay, there it is. So that makes sense. We just need to not keep them right there. Right, elevation. Is there elevation anywhere else? Yep. Okay, so we just need to move them over here. That's fine. We can do that. All right, I'm going to spend a few minutes. Let me relocate these guys. Okay, there we go. And yeah, I see the dead sheep. There they are. So that perk is, or that development point is not all that interesting, to be honest, because you can just build it somewhere else. I guess, like in this area, it kind of covers most of the map. So if you're building over here, you wouldn't want to go all the way over here to just do some sheep. So I guess you could take advantage of it, but if you look at the rest of the map, there's very few spots. Tiny bit here, and then about a quarter of the map here, but you could easily just put your sheep over here. It's not that big of a deal. So interesting. There's probably other maps where it's more important, but I guess on this one it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And looking here at our troops, we're up to 15 helmets, so we've got a decent amount of them. And if we want to open up more trade routes to buy the other supplies, how much is that going to be? So the mail armor at 320, yeah, it's getting very expensive. Gambison will produce our own. We'll probably have to import the mail armor as well, but we'll do that later. We don't have people that can use it yet. And then we'll have to do our own trading to get from over here. We'll get the flax and the barley. Right, some of these houses do have access to meat now, so let's go ahead and upgrade them. Or tier 2, there's a few down here as well. And what about this one? We just built this one, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to until we get more. That's all right, we'll get more. All right, now that we're not in the middle of rainy season or winter, actually no, this is rainy season. Yeah. Let's wait for a rain, and then we'll try to start a second region over here. So I do want to get farming going, so we can... it's going to take a while to get it up and running, so I'd rather get it started sooner than later. So we'll probably spend some time here setting these guys up. Yeah, there's some decent areas, but we got to be careful not to cover some of the resources. So flax, barley. Oh, we're getting raided. Looks like it's coming from the same area. Whoa, there's 4 of them now. We could start another spear militia. We have enough to do a few more, not 2 full groups, but 2 partial groups. Yeah, so 29, and then we have a retinue of 12, which we could technically increase more. It would just delay us a little bit from getting that. Actually, why don't we do that? Let's increase it a little bit. Yeah, we still have 250, so we got up to 14. This is fine. Get everybody out, warmed up. Please don't use all your stamina. There we go. All right, so we're going to try to set up here. It looks like they might just ignore that. I don't know. 1 unit is stuck out here, so that's good. Where are these guys? There's 1. Doesn't matter. Let's just get these guys set up properly. Shield wall, stationary. These guys will sit in the back, and then we'll counter. Hopefully these guys don't go running off and trying to kill everybody in our town, but speed it up a little bit. Here we go. There's one. Oh, we could probably move these closer. Yep, here they come. There we go. We're not moving. Perfect. So we'll intercept, switch them to offense. We'll get these guys up here and get them in offensive mode as well. Here we go. They absorbed. Switch them to push. And there's another one right there. There's got to be a fourth. I think I saw 4. Yep, there it is. I'm going to hold on these guys. I don't want to commit just yet until we know where they're going. Oh, they're going to go right for us, actually. That might be good. These guys are going to stomp them. So let's push forward now. They didn't really get a charge off. There we go. They're broken. Where's that other? They're way far back there. So we can have these guys tag team. There we go. They're done. There we go. It's a 3v1 now. Yep, we didn't lose anything yet. Let's go back. Hold ground. That worked out really well. We got one more though. And then we're going to need a few people in the church to clean up all these bodies. They're still a little ways back, so why don't we fall back a little bit? We'll have a little more room to react. Okay, there we go. And here they come. On, stand your ground. Charge them. And hopefully we don't lose anybody. Got him. Alright, that's it. Everybody go back home. And we have a lot of bodies to clean up, so let's get somebody in the church. Also, that gave us a ton of influence, which is good. We just need another 200 and we can claim this region. We can go to war with these guys. I don't think we can do it yet, though. We probably need to get maybe a 3rd regiment. So we have 2 plus the retinue. We can get this maxed out, maybe get a 3rd. I think we'll probably do is go for crossbows, some kind of ranged. I think that'd be a pretty good idea, but we'll see. Maybe we just do bowmen. We can do bowmen in the secondary region because I don't want to spend a whole lot of resources on them. So if they just have the bows and no armor, I think that's fine. We don't want them in melee anyways. So let's see, are these guys doing okay? Transporting, yeah, they're picking up bodies and burying them in here. So that's fine. There we go, we got all the bodies cleaned up and buried. We are good to go. Let's back that off. Now the plan is to increase the population here just a little bit, but I think what we'll probably end up doing is selling off some of these excess. So we're going to be producing a tremendous amount of cabbage. So it's 136 for each one. 142. These ones just started, so they need another rear to get accurate numbers. And then same thing here with the pears. Once the pears come into full season, then we can sell off some of that excess. We're going to have way more food than we can use. So we'll try to sell some of that off, and then we can use that money, I guess, to import more stuff. I think that's probably the way to go. So yeah, I think that's the way to go. So we could, if we didn't want to start a second region, we could just trade for everything. The good thing about this stuff is we buy it once and then it's done. This is going to be a problem though. The barley, constantly importing barley is a problem because it's going to cost 13 for every single one. Whereas this, we just outfit it once and then we just replace them when they die. But we shouldn't be taking too many casualties. So here we go. Let's get 5 more houses over here with their singles, but they'll also be able to produce some more swine or the pigs. So that'll increase our meat because this is, I just realized this is going to take forever. These things are still lambs. I feel like it's been a full year now. So I don't know if they adjusted how long it takes them to go from lamb to sheep, but that's going to be a slow process for sure. What we should probably do is just keep importing. Could import some sheep, but man, that's super expensive. It's okay. It's okay. We'll take our time. I don't think it's that big of a deal. If we get some more pigs in here, I think we'll be in decent shape. We're starting to get families in here, so we've got 5 set up. We'll set all of them up with pigs, and as soon as people move in, we'll start getting actual pigs and meat. There we go. That doubles our meat production. It increases our consumption just a little bit, but probably not that much. Also, if we're not going to be building a farm here anytime soon, why don't we go ahead and spend some money on our retinue? Let's upgrade a few more of these. So 4 more upgrades. That puts us at 18. So almost a full complement. And then also as these people move in, we're getting more troops to fill out the spear militia. Well, we should have 2 full groups pretty soon. And then I think 1 more group with archers. And then I think we might have enough to take on these guys. I don't actually know. They do hire militia, or sorry, they do hire mercenaries. So we kind of have to be careful of that. I also built a stable back here and we have 2 horses. Now this trading station is going to have all 4 slots filled. So their trade capacity should go up by quite a bit. There we go. Got another family in. More pigs being serviced. And of course, more troops. Yep, we're up to 32. We'll get 2 more houses. Yeah, it's not going to be enough. We need, I think, 2 more houses on top of that, and then we'll be maxed out. Okay, here we go. It looks like our sheep are starting to multiply. Now, some of these are going to be purchased, and some of these are going to be born. So we went up to 8 sheep and 10 lambs. Actually, we can look and see how many we bought. So total, we bought 20. 2 lambs died. So we bought 20. Yeah, so nobody had babies yet. So 18 plus 2 is 20. That's exactly what we currently have. So anyways, they do get old after a year, it looks like, maybe something like that. Oh, here we go. Pear harvest. This is going to be important. Need to see how much we're getting. And we're getting a little bit from this one, so that's not bad. But once these things are up and the trees are fully matured, we're going to be making a ton of money from this because we're going to have way too much, I think way too much food, more than we could use. Yeah, look at that. We have 512 cabbage right now, so we should probably start selling some of that. So this one in a season got 84. If I remember correctly, it was around 60 last year. So maybe it'll double after 4 years, something like that. So it'll go up to like 120, 140, something like around there. I wouldn't be upset with that. I think that's reasonable. And then same thing with this one. Because these both cost the same to expand, so they should be producing roughly the same amount. I'm going to build 2 more houses right here for pigs, and then also that'll be enough to finish off this. I don't like having numbers that aren't, you know, not even. So we'll get this up to 36 out of 36 on both. We'll do the same thing here. It's fine. We'll blow all our cash, and then we'll save up again, and then at some point we'll expand to a second area. Yeah, 24 out of 24, perfect. So we'll have a pretty strong military here, at least enough for the raids. If we get contested by an AI party, whatever these guys, that might be a problem. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But look how these guys just clear cut everything. Look at that. He chopped all their forests down. What are they doing with all this wood, man? The only thing I can think of is they're selling it, because like we barely cut anything down. Look at this. We barely cut some down here and a tiny bit in here. Oh, pretty bizarre. Everybody does that too. These guys did it. They chopped almost all their trees down. Also, on some of these, they do let you actually demolish the backyard extension. I'm going to flip 2 of these over to meat. So I'll have them produce pigs. We don't need the honey and the wax as much as we need the meat at this point. So let's flip those. And then when these are done being built and upgraded, we'll flip those. So that'll give us 14 properties producing meat. There we go. So now we just need people living there, and then we'll actually get some kind of supply from them. So looking good, and I think another 1 or 2 months we'll have enough to expand if we want to. But I think we'll probably wait till after winter ends, because the only food source, well, that's not true, not the only, but the best food source is going to be the berries. I guess we could survive off the animals here. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, 1 or 2 months we'll have enough in our treasury and we can expand. There we go. We've got our 250. So doing it in the wintertime, it'd be not the best idea, but we'll probably do it anyways. So what I'll end up doing, this is what I typically do, is I'll map out what the most important areas are. So like this area right here is super important. I don't care if we cut down trees to do it. That'll be for barley, and then the best flax area, actually right in here too. Yeah, there's some, ooh, wow, that's a lot of flax. Okay, so flax is good down here. Barley mostly in this area. And then there's a little bit up here, some random chunks kind of spread out. So we'll probably focus most of our attention in the southern part. So we'll build right around here. It doesn't look like there's anything important right here, so we could just build along this road. This looks perfect for a town. We can get some mediocre barley fields in here, but I think we'll just build our industry right here. And then Emmer, if we need it, can be just about anywhere. So that doesn't really matter. Yeah, I kind of wish there was a little bit more barley here. To be honest, this is not the best. There's a little bit more down here. Like there's spots here and there. That's the dark grain, but that's not that good. Right, I put another employee in here in the large granary, another family, and that is allowing us to provide meat. So it looks like maybe the production wasn't even the bottleneck. Maybe we just didn't have enough space in the food stalls, because now everything opened up after I added that. So let's go ahead and upgrade everybody. Just about everybody. It's going to use up a lot of our wood. Right, real quick, let's take a look at our animals again. Did we buy any more? So it says we bought All time 11 lambs. That's not accurate. I don't know what happened to our data. Maybe it drops off after a certain amount of time. Because I noticed we have more animals. We have more lambs. So we went from 10 to 15, and then 10. We went from 8 sheep to 10. So those 2 extra that we bought at the end matured and became sheep. So I don't know if we had some sheep give birth to lambs. I suspect that's what happened. So I think maybe you get 1 lamb for every 2 sheep you have, is my guess. So it's going to take a while to build this up, but that's okay. We're not, like I said, we're not really in a rush for that. Also, we are starting to shear the sheep. You can see we've got 35 wool here. Let's go ahead and put a family in the weaver's workshop, and we'll start to produce some yarn. And then from there, I'm pretty sure we can get a tailor shop. Tailor's workshop. We need another employee. I'll move stuff around. Let's get this thing upgraded to a tailor's workshop so that we can provide clothing for everybody, because you can see here they want garments. And then after that is just beer or whatever, ale. I think it's ale. So once we get that, we can upgrade more of these to tier 3 if we really want. Yeah, maybe not tier 3. Some of them maybe, but yeah, I think that'll help quite a bit. We're going to be making a ton of money from this area now. Now the tailor's workshop, we have a couple options here. So cloth from linen and then cloth from wool. And then so Gambison is only from linen, unfortunately. So we're going to stick this guy on clothes from wool, and we're just going to not put any requirements on. They can do whatever they want, produce as many clothes as they want, and any overage we'll end up selling. So we'll open up a trade out for that at some point. What does that sell for though? So clothes for 3, it's not that much, but it's still better than not having it. And then once we get a bunch of lambs and sheep here, we will open up a butcher shop, and then we'll start butchering them. Okay, so that's good. Let's also put a 3rd storehouse worker so we can get the clothing out. Yeah, right now we just have barely enough room. So we'll put the clothes in there, and that should start making people happy. We're starting to have to pay royal tax. Looks like our royal tax is 132. So it's basically nothing. And this won't be due for another year, basically. So I think that means we hit year 5. Yeah, we hit year 5. So that's not a big deal. I'm having trouble here figuring out what is going on with our clothes. So we've produced clothes every month, around 7 to 9 for every 30 days, but I have yet to see a single garment. I haven't seen it in here in our storage. I have not seen it at all in our marketplace, and nobody has that fulfilled. So I don't know if these are just going into thin air, getting eaten. We don't have a trade set up for it, so that's not where they're going. Yeah, this is not set up. So if I look at the resources, it says 2 produced, 1 consumed, balance +1. Where is that? And that's only 7 days. If we go 30 days, 8 and 6, past 12 months, 22 and 19, we should be +3. Where is this +3? And why did this 19 not even show up? Why am I still not showing any garments? That's really frustrating. It might be bugged, and if that's the case, then we can't get tier 3 because it's not satisfying that, unfortunately. The only fix is well, no, because they're getting consumed. I was going to say we could just sell them, but they're flat out disappearing. So I don't know where they're going. So if that's the case, I might have to destroy the tailor shop, and then we'll just sell the wool. Not the wool, but the yarn, because we're turning the wool into yarn, and then we can sell that. So that might be the best option if we aren't actually taking advantage of this. So I'm going to give it 1 more year. Let's see what it actually is doing. I have a feeling it is going away, unfortunately. Looking at our animals here, 10 sheep, 16 lambs, not bad. And let's see, it's raining. Should we start over here? I think we probably should. Even if we don't do any farming yet, we could at least get the basics down. And then maybe get another one of our manor houses so we can get another set of retinue. It's probably not a bad idea. So let's go ahead with the settlers camp. We should probably wait for the rain to stop though. Okay, rain stopped just as requested. Let's go with the settlers camp right here. And we can go modest supplies or average. It doesn't really matter. We'll save the money. We'll go modest. So there we go. Homeless people's tent right in the middle of the road. What's that one song? Our house is in the middle of... Let me get these guys set up. Here we go. We got storehouse, granary, small market, and a logging camp with 3 people in. So we don't have any workers. So we get all this stuff sorted. And we need to get quite a bit of timber. Let's get enough so we can build all 6 settlements. Like I said, I don't want to go too big with this. We'll keep it kind of small until we get things stabilized. You know, it would be nice to get a bunch of farming stuff going right away, but we'll probably wait a year or two before we do that. And we have a decent amount of food though, so yeah, we could probably survive for a bit. Food wise, we've got plenty. Why is it saying no food? Anyways, let me get these guys set up a little bit more. We need a few more timber and then we can start building houses. Here we go. We built some houses. So it's too steep to build over here. I tried all kinds of ways. I couldn't get it to work pretty much anyway. So when the lines are really close to each other, I think it just means it's too steep no matter what angle you're doing it at. I even tried to go with the grain and oh, actually, no. Yeah, I was gonna say it lights up, but once you try and set it down, it blocks you. So I don't know what we'll build here. Maybe nothing. Maybe we can't get anything in there, but we'll see. But yeah, we've got some houses here. We need a couple more so we can get some immigration going. We got another raid coming in a year, so we have to be careful. If they raid this new area and we're not ready for it, we're going to be in big trouble. So what we'll probably do is we'll call everybody. We'll maybe have them on standby over here. And if we have to, we'll rush over there quickly. I really hope they attack here though, because this is where our defenses are. So we set up a hunting camp. It's a little far away from the hunt, but that's not a big deal because these guys usually hunt to the limit that you set very quickly. And then we've got our forger hut, which needs to catch up a little because this is a rich resource, so we might need more than one person here. Let's put a second person on right now anyways, just to be safe. We've got our woodcutters lodge here as well. We'll get caught up there. And then this little town is good for a while. We don't need to really mess with it. It'll at least not starve or freeze to death. And then we can start expanding after that. I don't think we need to mess with these guys at all. I think they're pretty much set as well. So yeah, we can go back and focus on the new town. All right, so I think I've pretty much confirmed it. This is broken completely. So we've produced 50 this year. We've consumed 32, but 0 showing up on the list as being satisfied. There's nothing anywhere. And then it says we should have a balance of plus 18. There's nothing. So it's literally just disappearing. Yeah, I mean, it's still an early access game, but come on, guys. That's pretty bad. It's nowhere to be found. That sucks, man. I was hoping to get these guys up to tier 3 once we get all the farms situated, but I don't know that we're going to be able to, at least not with that. We'll have to import some flax or something. Oh, man, what a waste. What a waste. So I might pull these guys back, this tailor shop. I might just put it on something we don't currently own, and then I don't know, maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Garments from the marketplace, that has to be, yeah, it has to be that. And then shoes are, I'm assuming they're considered separate, but I don't know. Garments, is there anything in here that says this is a garment? Clothes, yeah, see, it'd be nice if instead of, it should have something in there saying garment, right? So you know, okay, this matches what we're looking for, but there's nowhere in here that says that. I mean, it should be obvious what it is, that it's a garment, right? Because that's what that means, but you never know. Yeah, it's definitely not shown up. Nobody's been satisfied, and I don't know where the excess went, so I think we just got screwed on that. But that's all right. Let me switch this over to something else so he stops producing it, and then we'll just stockpile it and then sell it over here. Actually, can we sell it without opening a trade route? No, we have to buy one. That sucks. It's only 80 though, so let's just buy it. And then we'll export all the way down to 0. It's only worth 2, but it's better than nothing, I guess. Okay, well, there goes that. All right, so we've got more houses here, a few more laborers, and I also started to extract some of the stuff that's temporary. So we'll try and clear out all the stone, all the clay. We won't mess with it for now. We'll just leave it in storage. And then we're also getting our well and our wooden church up so we can get happiness up and upgrade some of these people. I guess we can do everybody. You don't really get unhappiness at this level. Oh, great. Royal tax increase. Now we're paying 162. That's not that bad. All this setup, we'll get some stuff upgraded, and I think we'll start preparing for next year if we can, to start planting and harvesting. We'll try and build over the winter time if we can. We may run out of time, but we'll see what we can do. We got a trade post set up. We sucked out all the stone from the map, so it's just going to sit in here. We'll do the same thing to clay, and then we'll clear this out and we'll start setting up our fields. We've got our trading post set up to sell all the pelts, and we will use that to buy some extensions because we are going to need some more food here. Although I think we'll probably do the easier ones. I think maybe we'll just do like chicken coops or something. Cost 20, so they're pretty cheap. I don't know. We'll figure it out, but we'll definitely get that going. And then what else could we sell here? Probably nothing yet until we get farming going. I just want to get a little bit of revenue going so that we can buy some more food or different food types. But yeah, this should be good until winter. Like I said, we'll try and focus on getting this cleared out completely, and then we'll focus on converting it later. But I just want to get it off the map so we don't build over it with farms, and then we'll start laying out our farmlands. At our starting location, you can see the animals are really starting to multiply. 26 sheep, 28 lambs. We're probably going to need to start a butcher shop in the near future. We're still able to sell all of our supplies though, so the yarn's not piling up too badly yet. How much are we making on yarn anyways? So if we look at our trade, all time for yarn, we've sold 92 pieces. That's not too bad. And we're not quite done clearing the area out, so we'll probably try to get the farmlands going this year, but not actually plant anything until next year. So I think that's what we'll end up doing. I'm also ordered another ox. We're going to need several if we want to do the fields properly. Also, 85 days before the raid, so we do need to start getting ready for that in the next couple of months. But anyways, we're just going to wind this down. We'll clear this out. I'll set up the farms, then we'll come back and kind of talk about how we're going to do that. Hopefully, looks like we're going to be able to get it done before the raid, which is good. I'd like to get that taken care of soon. Right, somebody is trying to claim our land here, but we'll probably end up resolving it on the battlefield, but let's maybe wait a little bit longer. I want to get this manor up and then see if we can get all of these guys upgraded and maxed out. We have 2,200 in treasury. I don't know if that's enough, but it should be close. So why don't we get our manor built? And we don't want to lose this land for sure, so let's go ahead and set off fighting for it. Where do they want the fight to take place? Not in our land, which is kind of good. Means we won't have to deal with the dead bodies, especially in this new area. That might be challenging. So we need to get this done before 65 days because we need to get back and deal with the raid. Also, they may not even contest it. Sometimes the AI just bugs out and doesn't send any units, or they don't send it to the circle, so we'll wait for a minute. It looks like they are sending some units here. A couple mercenaries. We can dispatch them pretty easily, though. Look like archers and some regular, what do you call them? The brigands or whatever. The real low-tier garbage. Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be those two. I don't know if they're maybe going to bring some militia as well, or if they only bring mercenaries for that. And that brings up another point. I could hire mercenaries, but honestly, I just don't want to. It makes the game way too easy. Like, if we look at the mercenaries, like, I could hire these guys for 110. That's way too cheap, in my opinion. I don't mind using these to defend against a raid, but not for fighting against, like, proper armies. It's not fun. We'll do militia only. It did flip to losing. They are actually in the little ring, so let's go ahead and summon all the troops. We're not going to have time to build this, but what I'm hoping is we can get this built by the time this battle's done, and maybe if they attack, we can at least summon these people. I might also just hire the mercenaries to defend against the raiders if they spawn here. I really don't want to deal with that, losing a whole region for nothing. So let's make sure our guys aren't exhausted. Here we go. So we'll come back when we get to the battlefield. I gotta organize this. They actually did build that pretty quick, so we have our retinue ready over here. I don't think we need it though, because it's just these two. We will get them ready for defense against the raids here though, which we still have 51 days. So let's try to clear this out, and then we'll come back and deal with that when it's time. Here we go. We are in the circle now, so we should be stopping them from capping. Yep, we're winning now. And what we'll probably do is go after them. So let's go these guys out of the woods. Let's go shield wall, defense. Royal tax increase. Nice. 173. Let's get these guys in defense as well. Okay, here we go. Let's push up like this. Let's get our shield wall up there to soak up any of the arrows. Retinue will be right behind. All right, here we go. We're taking shots. There's the arrows. But they are hitting the shields, so it shouldn't be a big deal. See, their effectiveness is going down because they're taking shots. But these guys are not getting shot at, so they'll be fresh. All right, battle begins. Get up there and try and get these brigands to attack. Just gonna charge straight in with our retinue when we can. Actually, we should probably do that right now. All right, here we go. So hold, stand ground. We'll go against the brigands. Here we go. And they're trying to run now. Oh, they're gonna get stomped. Yep, they're getting stomped. Let's go ahead and sandwich these brigands. All right, we already lost somebody. Oh, no, we didn't. Maybe we did. Yeah, it's 35 out of 35. So both of these guys lost. Actually, that's interesting. They're broken. Yeah, we lost another archer, or another spearman to these brigands. These guys are supposed to be low tier, like absolute garbage, but that doesn't seem to be the case. They're getting some kills. There we go, broken. We defended. That gives us enough influence. We can just attack these guys if we wanted to. We've got 41 days for the raiders though, so let's head back to deal with that. Alright, so these guys have not been upgraded yet. These are the new retinue groups. Let's get them all upgraded. And I don't really mind blowing all our cash. We don't have anything else to really spend it on. So I'd rather have these guys ready to go, locked and loaded. Alright, there we go. That's the last one. So 24 out of 24, and they're fully upgraded. That should be enough to hold off a little bit of the raid when it comes. But yeah, we'll have to do something else. Maybe hire some more people, or we'll pull in the reinforcements. I'm not 100% sure yet. You know what? I might actually just build some barley farms right here in the 2+. There's a tiny sliver of 3+, but it doesn't have to be min-max. It's fine. There's a lot of 3+ down here, but it's kind of far. And I want to chop down some of these woods first before we do that. So I think I'm just going to build some right here. It's not that big of a deal. So why don't we get a nice looking road here? So barley, we'll have the road come right here. And then we'll try to maybe something like this. We can veer off like this. Let's see if that's close. Yeah, that's pretty close. That's fine. And then we'll do another road this way. And we'll try and keep a lot of this still open to build on. But then it'll at least kind of fence in our barley farm here. So we'll come down here and loop around. Something like that. Yeah, it's a little off, but that's fine. And then it looks like it turns yellow over here. So we just need to come straight over. I might need to adjust it later, but that's fine. So this whole area can be barley. And I think only barley, right? There's not a whole lot of flax. Not really. Emmer is kind of in here, so we could rotate between barley and emmer. But I think in the beginning, we're just going to do barley. So essentially what we want to do is get fields that are going to be 1 Morgan large. So something like this. So 1 Morgan. This one should be 1 Morgan. Yeah, so we go back a little bit. 1 Morgan. Perfect. Now each 1 Morgan field should be worked by a family... without no, I think it's 0.6 without an ox, but we're going to be using oxen anyways. So I think it's 1 family can do 2. It's like 2.1 or 2.2 Morgan. So we should be able to handle this with a pretty small amount of people if we're only doing barley here. Now, if you're rotating 3 different crops on this, then you'll obviously need more, but just 1 crop, we should be able to take quite a bit of it out. Yeah. What happened? Oh, it's because we have supplies there. Let's get that out. Anyways, yeah, let me get this sorted. We do have to deal with the attack soon, but I'll get this going and then we'll figure it out. So here we go. This is a pretty big field. We're not farming all of it at once though. So essentially what we want to do is crop rotate everything. So typically what I'll do is I'll do maybe 3 at a time. Turn on crop rotation, and then depending on what you're going for, you just kind of mix it up. So you go top, middle, bottom. So this one gets the top, this one gets the middle, this one gets the bottom, and now it'll rotate properly for just a single crop. Now if we want to do multiple crops, we could do barley, wheat. Actually flax is not terrible here, and rye is obviously pretty good as well. 65% flax is not great, but it's not awful. 89 wheat is quite good. We could do barley, wheat, and rye. So we would get 2 chunks of food, 2 years of food and 1 year of barley. But the thing is, it's because it rotates like this, every year you're getting basically 1 field of barley and 2 fields of food, because it's going to rotate between all 3. So we might end up doing that. Why don't we do that, actually? So then it's going to go wheat, and it doesn't really necessarily matter what you do, but I guess we can just do it like this. There we go. So we're going to get barley, rye, wheat, wheat, barley, rye, rye, wheat, barley. So that looks good. And that's for these 3 fields. Then we just go down and do the next 3, so on and so forth. So let me take care of that. Okay, there we go. We've got all of them set up. If you hold tab, you can see what it is. So you can see it goes barley, rye, wheat, all the way down. And then there's the last 2, I just kind of put random because it doesn't matter. They don't match up with the 3rd one, so it's going to be off by a little bit. If we were to have enough families to service this, we would need to have 1 family for every 2 Morgans. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We would need at least 5 families, and maybe a 6th one just to be safe. And then we would want to have probably about as many oxen maybe 4 or 5 oxen, and that should be able to handle it. So we'll see. Let's get a couple more families here and a couple more oxen. Luckily, we've saved up some regional wealth so we can handle it. So why don't we get these guys set up here? So we can build their houses right here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's perfect. And they will be permanent farmers. They will reside here as well. And then what we'll do is we'll get hitching posts set up along the back. I know we already have some, but I don't want to take too many of those because we do need some for construction still. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we have enough to buy 5 of these things, I think, right? Are they 20 or 30? They are 20, yeah. So we have enough to buy 5. That should be good. Like I said, we're probably not going to get stuff planted this year. I guess we could, but it's not going to be a good harvest. And then we got to worry about the raid here in about 20 days. Why don't we get... I was going to say, why don't we get mercenaries ready? But I really don't want to do that. I'd like to do this whole thing without any mercenaries if we can. So we'll try and get away with it. But anyways, let me progress this along and then we'll come back when we get some action. All right, one more day and they will be here. So let's get ready for it. Here we go. Where are they? Okay, good. They actually went to the same location, so we should be fine. Let's get these guys out again. And there's no way this retinue gets there in time, so we're just going to leave them and we'll work with the ones that we have over here. Make sure we don't sprint them so they can keep their stamina. Let's go ahead and get these guys set up. Shield wall, defensive, and we'll go 2 ranks deep. Oh, they're trying to go around? All right, well, let's scoot over. That's only 2 of them, though. Where's the others? Yeah, there's another one right here. All right, we have to keep these guys right here, then. We'll move these raiders over here, or these guys to intercept the raiders over here, I guess. All right, there's one group. As soon as they land, let's go and give them the offensive move. And why do they keep using all of our stamina, bro? I immediately stopped these guys from running. I don't understand why it keeps doing that. That's really annoying. Looks like they're going to run right into us, so that's perfect. We're going to switch them over. Okay, go ahead and push. Where are these raiders? They're right here. Let's get these guys on defense as well. Looks like they're going to be pushing in, actually. So we'll move over there, too. Yeah, these guys are going to get flanked, unfortunately. All right, there's 2. We need to just leave them right here. Are they? Let's counter. Yeah, these guys are getting sandwiched. All right, no shield wall. Let's go ahead and push. Oh, actually, both of these guys destroyed their enemies, so that's perfect. I hope we don't lose anybody because we're freaking out of stamina. We're all fatigued. Looks like they're winning. All right, no losses. Perfect. You guys get over there quickly. Get out of your shield wall, dude. Go attack. Perfect. Still 24 out of 24. Good. All right, they're all broken. Perfect. So I guess it didn't really matter. Let's get 2 people in the church so we can bury all these bodies. That's 4 groups that we have to bury, so quite a few bodies here. And then back over here, let's get this set up for being able to use oxen. I think we can actually get this planted for next year. Obviously, we're not going to get anything this year. It's already June, July, August, September. So 3 months. If we plant it now, it's just not going to have enough time to grow. But I think if we get this one upgraded, we can get 5 families in there. Maybe we can get like 3 of these things done. I don't know. What I'm going to do also is get field priority set up. So we'll do highest over here because this is closest to where we have our farmhouse. Second highest right here. So we'll go very high. All right, so that'll be 3, 3, and then these last ones we'll just do high. And then the last 2 will be mediums. So we'll have 3 sets with varying orders of importance. So they'll hit these 3 first, then they'll hit these 3, and then these 3. So the thing I don't want to have them do is have like 2 people here, 2 people here, 3 people here. I want everybody on these. And then when those are done, I want everybody on these, and then so on and so forth. I want to have 1 complete set at least before they move on to the next one. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and assign. Oh, you can only do 2 livestock. For some reason, I thought they increased that with this patch, but that was the trade house only, not this area, or not this building. So that's fine. Let's get everybody in there. Let's just see what we can do. June, yeah, it's gonna be a waste of time, but whatever. They have nothing else better to do. We'll at least get some data out of it. So there's 1, 2. Oh, we need to order another ox. There we go. So you can see that ox is plowing. These guys are doing it by hand. But once that other ox comes in, they'll back off. Right? Is he going to take over? Oh, he's going to this one, even though it's a lower priority. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Got another idiot trying to claim our land. It's the green guy this time. We'll have to fight that off. What do we want to do? We need archers, so why don't we start producing some archers from the farmlands? We'll have to do that later though. I don't think we have enough. How many do we have here? 20, we have 13 families, so that's good for 26 males. I know 30 because we actually have more. But we have more houses, so there's more people that are going to move in still. I think we can probably do it soon, but we're not going to be ready in time for this fight anyways. We need to get a bowyer and then get those guys out equipped if we want to be able to do that. So we're going to contest it, and they want to fight in our territory, unfortunately. So we're going to have to bury the bodies. Now they are bringing some mercenaries. Yeah, they're bringing 3 this time. So 2 infantry and 1 set of archers. Yeah, I really would love to get some armor on these guys before we send them in. It's going to make a huge difference, but not that big of a deal if they die. Even the retinue at this point, we have enough money to replace whatever losses we have. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. All right, they're here. They're contesting. Oh, they're trying to raid. You pieces of garbage. I didn't know they did that. We need to rally everyone. Okay, no, they backed off. I was going to say they're not supposed to raid. They're supposed to be fighting for the circle, not moving out there. But you never know. You never know. Let's get everybody moved over here and ready to go. Make it worth your while if you drop all claims. Perhaps Silver will convince you to join us. Yeah, see, these don't do anything yet. It's not working. See what he says. It's funny. So he accepted. Oh, it says refuse settle. Your offer is generous. Let us lay down our arms. So it says refuse, but then it says they accept. Whatever. Still gotta fight these guys. So yeah, I don't want to waste my time anymore with that. Let's Oh, they're raiding again. What are they doing? Dude, what are you doing? Yeah, piss off back there. All right, let's get these guys over there so we can deal with this. This is kind of annoying. We're gonna meet up right over here. Let's make sure everybody's on defensive. Yeah, they seem to be cycling back and forth. What I might end up doing is attacking these guys right after. So I think maybe we'll defeat this army, and since we have everybody rallied in here, we might just attack. All right, it says the battle's begun. I'm not even in the circle yet, dude. What are they talking about? Get these 2 forces linked up so we can actually fight. It's fine though. Should be alright. Are they gonna... If they go and raid us instead of fighting, that's gonna be kind of funny. Alright, here we go. We are on the downhill, unfortunately. I can't really control that because I was gonna come in from the uphill, but they decided to move the circle. I didn't know they could move the circle on us. But let's get set up. We have a pretty big advantage here though. Get our shield wall, get behind it, and then we'll flank with these 2 groups, the 2 retinues. Perfect. Smash them from behind. Lost one of our spearmen, unfortunately. Let's get these guys turned so they can face the archers that are raining arrows on us. Here we go. They're gone. Get our spearmen into position again. All right, retinue need to chill for a second because they lost half their stamina for one little battle. Where is their infantry? They have another infantry group here. Oh, there they are. They're just waiting. So let's go ahead and move. Oh wow, they are destroying our spear militia. What the hell, dude? They have shields. How are they killing them so... Whoa, dude, they're gonna kill the whole group. What the hell, man? And they're bows, they're not even crossbows. Wow, okay, well, good to know. Good to know that shields do absolutely nothing. We'll clear that guy out pretty fast. And then here we go, our spear wall, and they instantly, one of them died, instantly. Yeah, we can't keep these guys alive. We need armor on them, that's the problem. Here we go, we lost another, but we got the retinue in there. They should be able to clean that up. There we go. I don't know if I really want to send this group out to attack because this guy's cut down in half practically, so pretty freaking pathetic. But yeah, let's get them back to heal because that's really bad. We need to recover. Yeah, man. Why did they lose so much? That's crazy, man. All right, it is September, so they're trying to collect whatever we have. Yeah, it's going to be like 4 or 5 per field because it didn't have any time to grow. That's fine though. At least we can kind of see how well it does, and you can see it's not well at all. We need more. So we need more people to throw at the field, but that's fine. We can definitely do that. We can throw up another farmhouse right here. So we'll build another farmhouse right here. We'll get some oxen assigned to it. So we'll have 4 oxen and maybe 5 or 6 families. And I think that'll probably be enough to get everything done next year. But we'll see. I'm going to get a pack station set up right here. We don't have animals for it yet, but actually we should probably do that. Let's get the animals because I don't we don't have enough animals for these, and if we start ordering oxen, they're going to go to the pack station when I really only want mules here. And then when the mules are ready, when it's time to start trading, we'll send back probably the linen. I don't know that we'll send flax. Maybe we'll send linen. I'm not 100% sure yet on that, but yeah, we need to get armor on these guys ASAP. Now, looking at this year, it seems like we planted everything. I don't know if we're going to be able to harvest everything in time. That's the biggest issue. Planting is usually easier than harvesting. Sorry, opposite. Harvesting is easier than planting. I said it wrong again. It's much easier to get stuff in the ground than just to get it up, because to take it out of the ground, you only get 1 month. You get September, and then if it's not done by then, crop rotation happens and everything gets deleted. So, yeah, we'll probably throw more people at this anyways, just in case. But this looks pretty good. This is definitely promising. Let's get more livestock assigned. We'll pull back a couple people. We'll get maybe, yeah, 3 in each. That should be fine. Oh, see, it did it right now. It put the... Oh, man, I really... This game really annoys me sometimes. There's no way to reassign them to where you want to be. So, like, I can't just drag this guy to the pack station or the hitching post that I wanted to be at. So now we're going to have a hitching post with a donkey on it. Definitely not what I wanted. We have a little bit of flour we can turn into bread here. So you can see we've got rye grain. We'll convert that over to rye flour, and then the communal oven will convert it back, convert it into bread. Also, I went back through and just turned all these to medium. I don't want any preferences here, because then these guys, instead of hitting up the closest one, they're going to run all the way down here to do that first. It makes sense when you have one at one end. You want them to hit the one closest. Well, yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Anyways, I think if they're all the same, it should be better. And then when you start to expand our farms out this way, then what we'll want to do is set up a limited work area so that they only stay in this area and they don't go farming over here. So we just need to tune it so that they have maybe enough labor to get it done. Even if it's a couple days early, there's a little bit of efficiency wasted there, but we don't want to have fields not completed. And we also don't want to have like have it done a month early. That's too much labor. We could use that somewhere else. So we want to have it fine-tuned. So yeah, we'll probably end up doing that. But anyways, it is springtime, right? Yeah, spring, which means these things are growing nicely. Everything's in the ground. We got everything done last year, no problem. And I suspect we can probably back this off. I don't think we need a full 6 people here for that. Now, one thing we didn't get from this area, we're only getting food and barley. We're not getting any flax, and I do want to get some flax. So I will actually set up a second area. So let's go ahead and outline it with our roads. And there's enough of this double, or the dark green, that we probably don't need to go outside of that. So it looks like it's kind of like a U shape. Let me get this sorted. Okay, here we go. We got our, this is going to be for the flax. I don't know if we'll do maybe some food with it too, but I don't think we need to. I think it's probably best if we just leave it as flax. Let's get some roads here in between, and we have a logging camp down here just so we can start clearing out this, but we can delete it at some point. Yeah, that's a lot, man. That's a big field. And it's 11, so it's a little bit short of having the full 3 divisible by 3, so we need 12, but that's probably not a big deal. We can just leave 2 of them empty. So that would be 9, right? 3, 6, 9. Perfect. 3, we could probably get away with, I think, with 2 or 3 families and 1 or 2 oxen. If we want to only do flax, we could probably get away with that. So let me get this set up. There we go. So it's going to look like this. 1 year, it's going to be these 3 fields. 2nd year, the middle fields. And 3rd year, the fields all the way on the right. So that should do it. And then if we want to increase the yield over here, then we would just basically do the same thing we did here. We'll just add more fields. Why can I not see what's going on? There we go. Yeah, it's going to go 3, 3, and then the final 3. And like I said, I think we can get away with just the farmhouse here. Just the 1 maybe. But let's put it over here so it's kind of central. Get a couple more hitching posts, I think. Okay, so that means we probably need to set these up then. Let's set our work area so that they don't overlap. Don't want those guys traveling down there. They could to help out, but just I'd rather them just kind of stick to what they're closest to. And then once this is up, we'll set another work area down here so that they don't really overlap as well. We'll get 3 more burgage plots set up, and they're just a short distance down to their work area. So that should work out pretty well. People working here in the field. Perfect. Yeah, like I said on the last year, same thing. I don't think we're going to get much of a yield this year because it's already April. We might actually, you never know. Yeah, we might, but not a big deal either way. Right, and we're starting to get to our maximum limit on sheep here. So 54 sheep, 59 lambs. Let's get maybe another pasture set up, and then we'll start slaughtering them, I guess maybe next year. 37 spaces, perfect. So we'll have a little bit more room. And then why don't we get a butcher set up here already? Butcher shop. Oh, actually, you know what? I just realized they kicked the oxen out and they put the mules back in, so that's good. I didn't realize they were going to fix that. Now I'm curious to see if they move the animals that, like, are they, yeah, Peter, that's the close one. So they move them maybe, so it's closest. Because I used to have to do that manually. What about Hans? Hans is right there too. Perfect. Wow, they actually did a good job then. I retract my statement. I was 100% wrong. Martin, yeah, they did the same thing here. So they moved the oxen that are assigned to this area to be closer to here. Now, this looks like it's not going to be enough, actually. That's probably for 2 oxen and 1 family. They can do more than that, I think. Oh, actually, I take that back because they need to be able to do it in the year. We'll see. We'll see. We'll set it up, and if they finish it too early, then we'll add more to it. We could always add maybe just one thing. We could add like wheat or rye or something. So not that big of a deal. And for butcher shops, so we want it has a reserve set here, but we don't want to slaughter the lambs, and we do want to slaughter the sheep. But how many sheep do we want? Oh, this dude's already chopping them up. Holy crap! Yeah, he cut through a bunch. Let's let the sheep grow to maybe like 100. Anything over 100 will cut up. So in a year's time, they'll be maxed. And a year after that, they'll be able to go from 53 back down to 100. So we'll see if that is enough. What does this look like anyways? Oh, we have a lot of pork actually. We may not even need it. Yeah, that's a lot. And then is this thing producing? Yeah, 105. The trees are big. I don't know if that means they're maxed or if they need one more year. It's probably maxed because it's already year 8. I thought they would produce more than that, actually. That's not that much. Like, compared to this is 142. It's just that this is a higher tier food, so yeah, it's required for this satisfaction level, the burgage plot level 2, so maybe that's why. But yeah, I'm a little shocked. I thought that would be a lot better than that. Ooh, we had a drought. Crop yields were damaged by drought. Looks like it's still going to give us a decent amount, but yeah, it definitely went down. What happened to our animals? Did we chop them up? Oh, I didn't put a limit for lambs. I didn't put a limit. I'm an idiot. Yeah, I don't want him to chop lambs, so I'm just gonna set this up higher than we can possibly have. Yeah, I messed that up. I'm an idiot. At least we have a lot of mutton now, but it's gonna take a while to build that back up then. So this butcher shop's gonna do literally nothing. Right, how much did you do? Yeah, you chopped up a bunch. You chopped a bunch. Right, now we do have a tailor shop, but we need to turn something into leather, right? We need to turn the hides into leather, which is what this does. So let's set one of these up. Oh, look at that, perfect. So that little road in between fits perfectly. We can set another thing up right here. So the tannery. All right, super important. It's September. Let's take a look and see how these guys are going to do. So they're already starting to, yeah, they're starting to harvest over here. That's fine. These guys, they do have stuff to harvest, but nobody's over here yet. Where are you at, you lazy bums? Where are they? Oh, they're way over there. Did I not set it? No, I set unlimited work area. Whoops. Yeah, this should have been like this. Go. Now they'll come down here. Yep, there they go. They're starting to move down here. My bad. I forgot to switch it. Not a big deal though. So we are on September 15th. We're halfway there. It looks like they've done about half. Actually, more than half. So this is probably overtuned. I think maybe we can scale that back by 1 family, maybe 2. And then this is way overtuned. So 3 families and 2 oxen is way too much. I think rather than taking away, I think I'd rather just add more stuff to it. Let's take a look. What do they have? Barley is only 64%. That's not very good. 70. What about over here? 68. Yeah, it's not that great. It's fine. We'll mess with it later. Our tannery's up. Let's go ahead and put somebody in here. We need more families too. Why don't we scale some of this back and we'll put somebody in the tannery. We don't need to keep any in reserve. We'll just set that up. And then for here, we can finally have something for this guy to do. So let's... Oh, no, we can't. Linen and yarn, not leather. What is leather? Oh, I have to delete this and turn it into a cobbler. Dude, why can't I just switch the workshop? I have to delete the whole thing. It's weird that they let you do it for these. Like, I can delete it right here, but it doesn't let you do it for these. Yeah, I do wish they let you delete them. Anyways, I'm gonna delete it. Wait, where's all my harvest? 30 barley, 20 barley, that's 50, and 80. It's 130. I thought we had more than that. I thought we had more than that by a decent amount. I thought it was like closer to 250 or something. I'm wondering if we lost some somewhere. Yeah, I need to take a... I'll keep a closer look on it next year. Whoops. Something went wrong there. I was doing some thinking about how we're going to get the barley back, or to get ale in the other region. We could send barley and get back cabbage, but that's not really a good ratio. So I was thinking maybe we do the next step and send the malt. Where are you, malt? So if we send malt, it's 1-to-1. And then if we send ale, it's 1.5-to-1. So I don't think we convert it to ale. I don't think doing malt is a bad idea, though, because that means we can get more malt over per trip. Actually, no, that's not true. We would get more if we do the barley and then convert it over there. But this is a lot cleaner, 1-to-1. So I think we'll probably end up doing that. We still have to convert it, though. You can see here we've got 166. So we'll start converting that. And then what I might end up doing is putting a storage unit right here that houses all that. And then we could just have somebody over here converting barley and malt. His only job can go to collect and put it over here. So I'll probably disallow barley over here at some point. And then we'll move it over here so that it has a shorter path to travel. Because you see from here to here is not that far. Especially, it's going to end up in the granary, although we could probably just create maybe some manufacturing right here. No, actually, that's not true, because we want to have it go... One of these houses needs to take it, so... Maybe we'll build an extra burgage plot, because these are all taken in terms of their extension. And if they have to come down here to get the malt, it's not really good. Yeah, I gotta think through that part. But anyways, let's get it converted first. Make sure there's nothing else. I think, oh, yeah, there's still a little bit of barley left. So here and here as well. So we'll let them clear through all this. They're still getting the fields ready for next year. So we'll let that happen. And then we'll work on converting all of that barley to malt. And then, like I said, we'll probably ship it somewhere closer to the border. Or maybe it doesn't really matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a little bit further travel distance, but maybe it's easier to have it closer because the mules actually have a pretty good transfer rate. Yeah, so maybe we'll just do it right in here. We'll see. I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and get our malt. Start converting. All right, so looking at the fields here, it just turned over to December. We didn't quite get everything planted, so we do need more labor here. So we have 11 fields trying to be taken care of. That should be 10 families, but we only have 4 oxen, so that might be where the problem lies. So maybe we'll do another farmhouse somewhere. Could do one up here, but also do one on this side. Wouldn't be a bad idea. But then the trip back to storage is going to be kind of long, so we'll probably just keep it on this side. Let's go ahead and do that. See if that helps. And I think this one we'll put right here. And then we only need 2 of these per area, so I'm going to move one of these ox. These guys don't need to have 2 oxen just for that logging camp, so we'll move one over here. And then we'll keep ordering them until we get to the max, which we have room for 1 more. So we'll be good after that. And then down here, it looks like it did actually finish, or not quite. Yeah, it did. I was watching this one. For some reason, it's stuck at 97%. Nobody was coming down here. I think they got distracted up here. So this is plenty. We could, like I said, we could probably do more down here. Once we hire more people, then we'll do a second with more ox. Oh, you know what? Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, we also need somebody to help with the malt house. And then let's pull people back from here. So we only need 2 each. And then this one, I think 3 is probably too much for that, so we'll stick to 2. 2 in here. Let's get the upgrade done, and then we'll put the oxen, and then we'll see next year what that looks like. I'm also going to put down a little bit more population here, so we'll do 2 more burgage plots so that they have a close place to work. And then also we just need more labor here for sure. We can sustain it for now. It says only 9 in terms of how many months we have, but we have a lot of food just waiting. So once we get that converted, then we'll royal tax increase. No, I don't think we're really too worried about the royal tax. We have 5,600 and it's only 222 per year, so who cares? But what I was saying is we still have a lot of food waiting to be converted. So we have rye and wheat grain, so we should be fine on that. I'm also going to build a little bit more here in Vildevand. Now I want to get more cabbage. The reason being is we do have an excess right now, but I'm worried that if we start trading it away, it's going to go away very fast and we won't be able to sustain, because we need to be able to do a sustained trade between these two to get the ale produced. So we'll just have a little extra just in case, but this one shouldn't be a big deal. So our food is going back up. It was at 8, now it's at 12. Just like I said, we're converting everything into bread and we still have a lot to go. So this area should be able to support quite a bit more population than this. So we might expand this out a bit more. And then we're converting the malt, the barley to malt. As you can see, 125, that's looking pretty good. I also started to convert the flax. So we'll do that and then send the linen over as well. And then we'll probably have to toggle. We can just toggle this thing. And then I did notice, while these guys didn't quite get it done in time, it's still going to make a decent harvest. So like if you look at something like this, 52%, and it's producing 84 versus this one that's 49 because it was planted late. So it's going to get close to half, a little more than half. But that's, I mean, it's better than 0. And these guys are not doing anything during the most of the year, actually. So like wintertime, spring, and summer, they literally do nothing. And then they just work during the autumn. So I guess if there's a little leftover that they can pick up during the off time, that'll, you know, give you a little bit of benefit. But anyways, we should have enough here. We'll start, or we'll continue to take all this, convert it, and then we'll start shipping it over soon. I don't want to ship it yet until we get everything sorted over here. So we've got our veggies. People are moved in, so they'll start planting it. Yep, there they go. And then these are getting upgraded, and once they're ready, we'll have one of them as a brewer. I think the other one we need to do, right, it's for the leather, I think. Yeah. Let's go ahead and upgrade this to the cobbler's workshop. So we'll produce shoes from that. I'm also going to build, another house right here, just so that it's a little bit closer to the granary where all that malt is going to get stored. So we also need to get a tavern, small tavern. We'll pop that right next door to the brewer. We're not going to go for a huge settlement. I mean, I would be a lot more careful where I'm putting things if we were going to go big. But in this case, like I said, we might get 2 to 3 full militia armies per region. So anything past that, we don't need to go. So it's not going to be too bad. Okay, now looking at the shoes, it does convert leather into shoes. We don't need to set any requirements here. Let's just fingers crossed and hope that it counts as garments and then it doesn't get eaten with no benefit. So let's keep a very close eye on this. See, yep, they're producing shoes. So we should see those shoes popping up in people's houses and satisfying those needs. I'm not seeing it, unfortunately. There's the shoes there. Okay, so they're in there and there's room. There's definitely room in the stalls. Please pick them up and put them in. At least they're not disappearing. We at least see them. I don't think I ever saw clothing in here. It just disappeared instantly as soon as they took it out. So never disallowed it or anything. So it should have definitely gone in there and then into the stalls. Like I said, they still have room. This granary is saying that we don't have room. That's the case. All right, let's put another person in. Yeah, see, it seems like you don't need a lot of people, but it's like the bigger we get, exponentially we need more people, it feels like, but it's probably not the case. So anyways, cobbler shop is up and running. We are getting boots, and like I said, we should start to see this filter through, unless that's broken as well. And if that's broken, I don't know what else we can produce. Like, what else is there? I guess cloaks? I think you can make cloaks. I deleted my other shop, so I can't tell. Yeah, this one says clothes, cloaks, and gambeson. I don't think cloaks are in, though. I saw 2 types of clothes. I didn't see anything for cloaks. I think maybe they removed it, and they just forgot to update the UI. Maybe they forgot to reconnect the code or something. Anyways, let's move on. So we'll get that set up. Once somebody moves in here, yep, we can update upgrade this to tier 2, and then we'll turn that into what it needs to be. So that'll be a brewer. We need to get somebody working here. So turn the pack station on. We're going to go malt for cabbage at Vildevand. So they'll start sending that over. Now we have 150 malt, which means we're going to have to give up 150 cabbage. We have 803. That's more than enough. So I'm not too concerned about that. And then once this starts coming in, we'll have even more to be able to give up. And checking in here, we could see Antonio, or Antoni, pack station. He's taking malt. And Anna, also taking malt. And then are you doing it by hand? Yep, taking it by hand. So I don't know why they do that. That's kind of weird. You have 2 slots for animals here, but not 3. I wonder if we were to just make a hitching post and put a 3rd mule, I wonder if it uses it or not. I'll have to test that out. It shows here that you can only assign 2 to this building, but then all 3 of them do the bartering, so maybe you can't do anything about it. I don't know. But two mules is still pretty good. You get quite a bit of capacity with that. So anyways, we'll get that converted over, and then this place will start to produce ale. So here we go. Let's produce the ale. So you are going to turn into a brewer. We need somebody to work this. We can also upgrade the tavern. It allows you to supply more burgage plots. Let's do that preemptively. We're already out of workers again, dude. I swear we just added some. But you know, once we get this done, we'll convert some of these buildings into tier 3, which is going to double their occupancy, especially these. Oops. Especially these. So this will add 2 more families for every one that we add, because these are duplexes. So they'll go up to 4 families instead of 2. That's going to make a big difference. Let's see. Ale, I don't think there's a reason to not go all the way to max. And it looks like the malt is here. Oh, we're getting raided. And it's coming from this side. That's near the AI. Oh, nice. Yeah, go raid the AI. Yeah, go destroy this guy's army. What's he going to do? Is he going to form militia? Okay, so now we can get an idea of what kind of troops they're working with. So it looks like they have 4 spear militia and then 1 group of 5. I'm assuming these are not upgraded either. These are probably just the basic units. Wonder if we can tell. They don't look like they have heavy armor on, but I can't really tell. So yeah, that's definitely doable, especially if we get our archers going. If we get 2 groups of archers from here, 2 sets of spears, 2 retinue, and 2 archers, that's going to be enough to walk over all these guys. And then we just need to save up the influence to be able to do it. It's 2,000 for each one, so we need 6,000 total. So we're halfway there. But anyways, let's get this going. Hopefully we are supplying people with ale. He's starting to produce it, so that's good. All right, here's their battle, still ongoing. Starting to disband. So yeah, they're definitely not well equipped. These are just regular militia, no helmets. I mean, not to say that ours are much better. We have just the helmets, but we are going to start producing some armor for these guys soon. Our land's getting claimed here by these guys, it looks like, so we'll have to defend that, but we'll do that in a minute. It looks like they're only hiring a handful of mercenaries here, so there's 2 units. I think we can probably destroy them with just what we have here. I don't think we need the other retinue. I guess we could bring them anyways. Oh, the battle begins. Dude, I'm not even ready. Why would the battle begin? I'm not even in the circle. Their units are splitting up, which is really good. Okay, so I guess we'll take advantage of that. I'm going to disband these guys. We don't need them. There's no way they get there in time if the battle's already starting. We need to push in because I've seen this game screw you over where it says you're not in the circle and you just gave up. Even though you are in the circle, but they moved it on you. Let's fall back a little bit. Let's try and get our spearmen to take the brunt, and then we'll flank with these guys. Okay, sprint dudes. So we just completely surround and destroy these guys quickly, hopefully without taking losses. Yep, there we go. No losses. And here comes the other group. This one's only spearmen though, so it's even easier, I think. Let's go ahead and get spearmen in front. Shield wall. Are they running away? Cowards. Go after him if he's just going to run away. Yep, he ran. There we go. Peace declared. So we got the victory on that one without any losses. We are going to need to clean up bodies though. Okay, I don't know what else to do here. Our shoes are just sitting in the storage. They are refusing to put them in here. These guys aren't getting garments out of it, so there's no way we can upgrade them to tier 3, unfortunately. I don't know what else we can do. I mean, we have everything. We have room, we have capacity, we have workers, we have inventory. I've tried it with 2 different types and they just refuse. So I don't really know if I'm doing something wrong, or I don't know if the game's bugged. I mean, I've done this, I don't know. I've got like close to 1,000 hours in the game, and I've never had this issue before in the previous patches. So I know how to do it from previous patches. I don't know if they changed it where you have to like assemble an outfit or something. Like, do you have to put clothes and shoes together? How do you do that? Or is it just bugged? My guess is it's probably just bugged. Well, let's see if we can get the alcohol. I mean, I guess that was a waste then. If we can't get to tier 3, it doesn't really make sense to do this anyways. Damn. Now, I am seeing the ale actually filter through. So you can see these guys have it. A couple of these guys have it. They're starting to turn green as we add more and more. So that's working okay. It's just the clothing. We have to figure out how to do the clothing. I don't know. The garments. Man, that's frustrating. That's really frustrating. But anyways, we can't do anything about it. Let's keep going. I'm going to go ahead and create a bowyer's workshop here. That'll take out 1 worker from the population, but we're adding 3 more houses. So we'll continue to progress that. And then we need to get these guys outfitted with bows. And then I think we'll start going on the offensive. Also, we need to get our influence up. I don't know if we're going to get any from these. We will if we have to defend against raids. But that's not reliable, and it's kind of random when they will show up. So let's go to our manor over here. We have 1,200 food. That's plenty. So we'll add a tithe. Maybe we'll add like a 1% tithe. We don't need a lot, I don't think. And I also don't want to drain too much of our food. So we'll see what that looks like and see how much influence we're getting each time we go. Okay, there we go. Tithe paid goods given away is 15. I don't know how much influence that turned into, but we're at 3,200 now instead of 3,100. I guess we'll have to keep a close eye on it. 12 is kind of a small amount. I don't mind doing a little bit more. So maybe let's go up to 5% tithe. That should give away about 50 to 60. And we should be able to stomach that and then just creep our influence up a little bit. We won't do it here. This place is a little bit more precarious. Well, maybe not. They have 16 months of food, so they should be all right. All right, let's go to the bowyer and make sure we are producing bows. So 1 plank for 1 war bow. Perfect. Let's not produce more than, say, 30? 20? We'll go 30. And then let's also start a regiment here of bows. So archer militia. We have 10 bows. We can actually have 54 out of 36. We need 72 to create a full 2 groups. So a handful more and we'll have it. And I think we have... Oh, you know what? I just realized we did a harvest and I didn't watch it. September, November. I didn't even see what it was. Crap. Let's take a look and see how much we have in storage here. So 117 wheat, 206 rye. That seems similar to last time. 124 barley. That seems a little bit less. And 143 flax. I don't remember how much flax we had, but that might be similar. 124 barley. We might have already been converting barley though. Yeah, that's why. So maybe it's just not... Maybe we already started converting some of it. Maybe that's why it's not... It looks like it was less than last year. So it looks like we're okay. Looks like we're okay. We'll see what they do in terms of planting. I also turned off the regions for them, like the specified work area. So as soon as these guys finish, they're going to rush up here to help finish, and then vice versa. So they'll all be kind of working together. But anyways, war bows, we'll get that running, and then we need to get more population here, but I don't want to grow it too fast. We need to make sure that we can actually sustain it. But let's get a few more housing units here. 4 more houses. And then we can start putting... Actually, we should probably do that. Let's start putting some meat here. Do we want the chicken coop or the pigs? We don't have a ton of cash here, so the chicken coops would be the most reasonable one because we get eggs and chicken. Now these we can get meat, fish, and animal produce. With this one, it is meat, fish, and then animal produce is separate. So tier 1 coops are fine. Tier 2, I feel like it's not going to be enough to satisfy. And we want everybody to be tier 2, so why don't we just... whatever, I'm just going to do chickens. You know, I just realized this. So if we increase the maintenance of our church, it goes from 2, whatever this is, the rubble stone, up to 8. So you basically quadruple the cost, but I mean, 6 more rubble stone, who cares, right? We're selling it off anyways. And if you look at the effect, you get influence gain. That's actually really good. I didn't realize that. That's a good idea. I'm glad they added that. So I guess we should probably check and see. So maintenance, increased labor speed, and then none. Yeah, you can do it to a lot of these things. This one, increased labor speed. I do wish it told you what the increased labor speed was instead of just a generic text, because it tells you the maintenance rate is doubled. Here, none and none. And then if you have half, then decreased labor speed, but I guess it's not that big of a deal. Anyways, not really that big of a deal. I thought that was kind of cool that we can get influence from doing that. Hopefully it's a decent amount, but we'll have to wait and see. Oh, did it tell us? So we got 60 influence for that. I don't see anything for how much influence we got. I'd have to test it out when we weren't donating. Yeah, and you can see your exact amount right here. So I know it estimates it, but if you go to the map mode right here, it's 3360. So we could technically find out if we turn that off. It's not a big deal, but good to know. And looking over here, it looks like everything was finished this year except for these 2 extra fields. This one was almost finished, 91%. This one was 47%, so about half. These were, oh crap, not at all. 50% sown and 39% sown. So we're going to have quite a bit of lacking in the flax department next year. I mean, we have a lot, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, that's actually not good. So, I mean, the perfect scenario is you fine-tune these so that you have just enough workers to finish the work without having to have them go all over the map. And then you just keep them to those specific fields. I just don't have the patience to do it right now to fine-tune it. I'd have to go off and test it, and I just don't care right now because I have a feeling this patch is just not that stable. I haven't really run into too many issues, but this is a really, really big one, and it's really bothering me. So getting to Burgish plot level 3 was on my list of goals for this campaign. So I'm a little annoyed at that. I'm wondering if it's just this area or if there's, I don't know. I could try to do it over here, but I don't really want to do it. I think I'm just going to leave it. So, but anyways, I'm going to keep going. We need to get more soldiers here. We've got 35. It's pretty good. Let's actually start a second archer group, and then we'll keep going until we get that filled out. So we need, how many more? We have 4 more, 4 more families coming in soon. That's 8 more people. That puts us at 60, what, 66? We need 3 more, I believe. So let me build 3 more. We'll get them in here. We'll do a little bit more. Let's do 4. There we go. Get that built. We'll get people moved in, put them to work, and then we'll start attacking once we get these filled out. Almost there. I've got a lot more chickens in here as well to keep people happy, feed them well. And our families are coming in. We're 33 out of 36, so a couple more. So I don't think anybody moved in here yet. Yeah, we still have more people here. I also put more labor on the farms, so we should get everything completely filled out. Might get more out of these fields, but we don't really need to be honest, to finish this. We're up to 4,100 influence as well, so we should be well on our way by the time we get these cleaned out. We have enough to clean 2. By the time we do that, we might even have enough for the 3rd. So, coming along nicely. What happened here? They put a shoe. There's a single shoe inside the stall. So they do put stuff in, but for some reason they're not putting it in right now. Only a single one. So who has the shoe? It's the lucky shoe. And then we can upgrade them to tier 3. Somebody's got a shoe somewhere around here. Or maybe it didn't propagate yet because they just loaded it. Yeah, I don't see anyone with that yet. It used to be so much easier to figure out what people are missing, and now he made it so complicated, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like the UI did not keep up with his thoughts. Because I used to be able to just hold tab, and then I would know exactly what they have, what they're missing. Everything would be here. Now it's not. So who the hell has the shoes? And why is it not shown on general goods? Is it not supposed to even be in there? And I'm so confused. I'm not sure. All right, we are starting to get more lambs and sheep, so we'll start cutting them up, I believe. So let's take a look at the butcher and see. Yeah, he's getting an animal. Perfect. And he has been cutting them up. That's perfect as well. So what I did is I increased the lamb number up to 300 because we were starting to get a lot of lambs, over 100. And I set the number to 200. That may be not enough. I think this should be fine. And we have a little more space. I think we actually need more space than this. So I'm going to create another one over here. Get another 30 or something. And 20. At least we have some overage. We need another mine here. So let's get even more. I'd like to have closer to 300. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, we should start getting some decent meat from this as well. Okay, there we go. We got it. 36 out of 36 on 2 of these groups. So why don't we start attacking? I care that it's in the middle of the year. Summon everybody to the banner. Okay, there we go. We'll gather everybody over here. We'll summon them at the same time as well, so that everybody's not just waiting around. This place has 8 months of supply. They should be fine. Now, I don't know if their food consumption goes down because they're out and it gets put on the region that they're in. So I don't know. Maybe that's not the case. But here we go. We're making our way over, and then over here, let's go ahead and summon these. Always a struggle to get these guys to stop sprinting. Here we go. We've assembled, kind of. Let's get our lines situated properly here. So we're gonna have 1, 2, and 3 lines. Quick fall in. Let's go ahead and go campaign map, claim region, claim our neighbor here. And as soon as he tries to defend that, we'll meet him on the battlefield. Yep, here we go. Right, they're coming from here. Oh, dude, you gotta be kidding me. I thought they were going to fight with all their troops. They're just sending 2 tiny reinforcements. What is that? Huh, okay, well, I guess we should have fought against Hildebolt. If you want a good fight, I guess go just keep fighting Hildebolt, because he actually puts up a pretty good army. This is not a good army right here, but that's all right. Should we have everybody situated here? We'll be on top of the hill. They'll have to come to us. Go shield wall, 2 ranks deep. We'll keep these guys on the flanks, and then we are getting shots on them here, I believe. Yep, there we go. So we're already getting shots on them. These guys ready to flank. I feel like they're gonna try and go after us. Perfect. They're taking the bait. So we're gonna swing around anvil and hammer style. There you go. Switch our targeting here. You need to pull back. Let's actually get out of shield wall and start sprinting. Go. Get back. They're done. They tried to go after the archers and they failed. Let's rout these guys now. We might take a loss here on our spear wall. Maybe not. They're hanging in there. Yeah, get more shots on them. Perfect. Yep, we didn't take any losses. Perfect. So we get this region, but do we get all their... Do we get their town? I think we do. Wow, that's pretty wild. Yeah, look at, we have access to everything. They're starving, so the AI is not doing a good job here, apparently. Oh boy, yeah, that's a mess. Trying to clean up the AI's mess. Oh boy. Where's their wood production? So there's the charcoal kiln. They definitely need people in the charcoal kiln. And woodcutters. Okay, so they do have people in the woodcutters lodge, but they don't have any trees because they cut them all down, and they haven't been replacing it. Wow. Well, we know what they need. They need a lot of Forster huts. They don't have any wood. I'm probably not going to save this. I'm just going to let them rot. They'll end up starving to death and then rebelling and all that stuff. I just don't care. Let's continue our conquest here. Let's go after, I guess, this one because it's right next to it. So let's claim with influence. And that puts us down to 2,600? No. Okay, they are making us fight in their territory, which is fine. We'll head over there. Start moving. What are they fighting with? Again, just one group of mercenaries. Yeah, at least the Hildebolt fight, you get to fight against like a whole army. This is not going to be very challenging, I don't think. We are down to 842. That's not bad, actually. But we'll need to save up a little bit after this. Get these guys shield wall. I'm going to keep these guys bunched up behind so they can't really get a flank on, because last time that's what they did. They just kind of went around. Are they going to come to us? They might actually come to us, which would be good. Let's get our we'll get a 2v1 against their archers. Okay, there we go. Battle begins. We need to get inside the circle ASAP before the game screws us over. Okay, archers are running. We are in the circle now, so we're good. We could probably just chill here. Get our archers ready to start shooting at them. And if they're going to be stupid, we'll punish them for it. get our shield wall over there and pivot it a little bit. Let's get our archers out of the way because it looks like they're just going to try and bum rush our archers. Oh, crap. They have another light mercenary over there? I didn't see that. We should be able to clean... Oh, boy. Hold on. Yeah, get them, please. There we go. There's one. They are going to try to flank here on our archers, which is fine. Nope, they're going after... Well, I don't know what they're doing. They're reforming and reforming. Let's get back over here if we can. They're broken. Perfect. We didn't lose anything. Archers, start shooting these guys. And then if we can, let's double up on these. Don't think we need... Yeah, I don't think we need anybody else here. We should be good. Then there's another group up here. Let's try to get up there. Lost one of our retinue. That's fine because they're pretty cheap and easy to replace. All right, they're sending units in from all over the place. I don't know what is going on here. They're going to try and charge our archers. I don't really want them to do that. So let's pull the archers back. All right, there we go. They're broken. Let's very quickly get in there and stop these guys from rushing. Dude, what are you doing? Holy crap. These archers are a bit of a liability. They're like ignoring everything and just going after them. There we go. Broken, and one more. Dude, where are they getting all these units from? They must have hired another group or something. Right, so we're going to lose archers here, unfortunately. Okay, there we go. We won that one. Let's go back home and heal up, lick our wounds. And we need to save up influence to get this last region. Not too bad. Yeah, a little disappointing. I thought they were going to actually send their militia out here. There might be a better way to do it. Maybe if I just directly attack their town and start raiding, they'll summon. I don't know. I'm not sure, but anyways. So all our troops are back. Let's go ahead and make sure we have our retinue in order. So only 1 died there. 5 died here. 1, 5. They're all back to full health. Now the archers are going to need a little bit more work, but we can get back out there. As soon as we get the influence, we can go attack them again. So that might take a little bit. Hopefully we get raided at some point, and then we can use that to go attack. Otherwise, we're just going to have to keep donating food, and it'll just pile up slowly. So anything interesting pops up, we'll come back. Otherwise, let's wait until we get to that big fight. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't really consider... These other settlements are costing us a tremendous amount of annual tax. Not that it matters. 793 is a lot higher than the 220 or whatever we were paying. But the problem is we can't really extract revenue out of this. I guess we could if we tried to turn it around, but just they're so terribly done. Like if you look at how bad, I don't know what the AI is doing here. I mean, they're putting stuff down for sure, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. So I'm not even going to bother trying, but they had a lot of people. 89 unassigned families. It's a lot. So anyways, yeah, we'll leave that. We'll just pay the extra cost. We're only 1,000 influence away, so it shouldn't take too long. If we had a little bit more time, I would start sending over some other resources. Like this place already has 198 ale. It's probably enough to last for at least a few months, if not a few years. Yeah, I don't know how much we're using. Actually, we can probably tell, right? If we go to records, resources, and then go over to ale. Consumption was 10. Oh no, that's 30 days. Sorry, that was 7 days. 30 days is 13, 12 months, 157. 13 times 12 is roughly 157. It's pretty close. Yeah, so 13. Looks like we're using 13 for 41 families. 41, they're all level 2, so they're all drinking ale. Interesting. 13. So it's about 1 for every 3 to 4 families, roughly, per month. So not bad. And yeah, all of our people are starving and freezing to death, and I just really don't care. So we'll let those regions die off. We need just 200 more influence. So, but anyways, what I was going to say is we could start sending over some stuff to produce the armor. So if you look here, we've got 370 linen. That's a lot of linen. We could easily trade that for the cabbages. Actually, how much cabbages do we have here? Yeah, we're piling up cabbages, but not as much as I thought we would be piling up. So yeah, we could send them here and then get a tailor and start turning it into armor, but it doesn't really matter. Like I said, we're just going to finish it up at this point, and we're ready to go. Let's get our 2 armies ready, and then we'll claim their land. Here we go. Let's go ahead and claim. And for sure they're gonna contest. I wonder if the last one, if they send more units or something. See if they actually do that. So unit spotted. They've got a couple archers. Oh boy, there's archers over here. Yeah, they're pulling units from all over the place. Let's make sure we can actually meet up before we actually engage. I'd rather have our force fully combined. Let's do that. Okay, here we go. We are moving into the circle, and I'm wondering if we can go harass their peasants. All right, let's just get one solid line. And archers in the rear. There they go. And we do have units behind us we got to be careful of. They also have these brigands. So let's peel somebody off to deal with them. These three are just going to continuously push. Let's get these guys. Actually, why don't we focus down? Let's focus down the same unit. These guys can chase them down. All right, where did those brigands go? Oh, they're right there. That's fine. Let's let them come to us. We don't need to push too hard. There we go. They're taking damage. These archers are in really bad, they're in a really bad position here. They're not going to do very well against our melee. All right, so good so far. Let's go ahead and turn. Let's get a united front here against these guys, and we'll try and get some archer shots on them before they reach our line. You're going to drive them off. They shouldn't take any losses there, but they might. See. All right, what do we got? 2 more archer groups. I imagine they'll have more than that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, brigands are just not going to survive. They broke. All right, sweet. Yeah, no losses. Let's reform. And looks like we're still... Yep, there we go. Still in formation. We're getting shots off here. Perfect as they come in. Oh, yeah, they're taking damage. It's one down already. Now, these guys do have armor. Oh, these are huntsmen. Crap. These guys have crossbows. So we got to be careful. Those crossbows are nasty. Let's get on them right away. I'm gonna charge. Actually, let's double charge. Yeah, I don't want them to get any shots off of those crossbows. They're really bad. And it looks like we won. Well, that was a little anticlimactic. Sorry about that, guys. I have never played this mode before, and like I said, I haven't played this game in, I don't know, maybe it's been close to a year or something. Interesting. I would say there's some, for sure, some improvements. Some stuff's kind of the same, like the farming feels roughly the same, although I will say this, they did fix it where you can collect the resources from the actual farmhouse. Before, you weren't able to do that. Oh no, I take that back. You weren't able to collect anything, and then one patch they fixed only one of the things. I think maybe it was barley, but flax you couldn't get. Now everything comes out of the farmhouse and it'll go into one of your storehouses. So logistics seem like it's a lot better. They changed around the economy a bit, so we fiddled with that quite a bit in this town, and I would say it's better in a lot of ways, and kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense in other ways. For example, these trades, like the helmet cost doesn't make sense when, well, okay, the helmet cost makes more sense than this. Buying the ore for 11 each, like why would you make it yourself and have it cost more and then have to put in like 2 or 3 stops worth of labor when you could just buy from here? So that's definitely not balanced. I don't understand why everything is exactly the same. So for example, a tariff on flax is +10. It's an item that costs a single gold, right? But then you add +10 tariff. Why is that tariff the same when you add to an item that costs 6, right? So logically it should scale somewhat, right? So if it costs 100% more or 1,000% more, so going from 1 to 11 is 1,000% increase. Wouldn't you want to do 1,000% increase here? So instead of costing 6, it's going to cost you, I don't know, 60 or whatever. So I don't know. Obviously that doesn't make sense. You would want to scale it down a little bit. So yeah, maybe this should cost more, but maybe the sale price should go down a little bit so that it's not overpowered to just spam these. Like, I don't mind making 6 off of a helmet, making 2 off of a spear. I'm totally fine with that, but the other side doesn't make sense. That should definitely be adjusted. It seems like some of the things are still broken. Obviously, this is broken. For sure, this is broken. There's no way this makes any sense. Not having garments when we built every possible garment in the game, and then we couldn't get a single one in the shops, and then we couldn't upgrade anything to tier 3. That was a huge disappointment. But yeah, them taking away some kind of clothing or leather requirement from a tier 1. I guess I get it, but I don't know. I think they made it too complicated and then they botched their whole system. So this is kind of an interesting change, having multiple tiers of food. So instead of just 3 different types of food, you have to have 3 different tiers of foods. So before, if it doesn't matter what kind of food you have, as long as they weren't the same, you would satisfy all the needs. Now you have to have animal products, you have to have a meat, and you have to have a veggie, or 2 veggies in this case. So I'm okay with that. I think that's a good idea. Same thing with how they changed the burgage plot extensions. I actually like this more than the way they did it before. It makes a lot more sense. So it's pretty expensive to expand these, but I think it needed to be that way because of how powerful it is. Like, this is still, even though this costs us 500 gold, it's still very, very good to have. Actually, I think maybe these cabbages could cost a little bit more. I think that would make a little bit of sense. Although this is like a low tier food, so maybe not, because this is a high tier food, the pear, right? Yeah, cabbages fulfill the low tier. No, I think that makes sense. That makes sense the way they did it. I'm good with that. I'm really happy that they changed how the oxen work in the hitching post. So they move around based on where their workplace is. And I haven't checked for sure, but it feels like the people that live near a job will automatically move there. So like, this guy's a farmer. At this one, I didn't assign these guys, so I think they automatically move on their own. So I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see if what do these guys do? Bowyer. Oh, that's not going to work for what we're trying to find out. Carpenter, I guess. Unassigned. Yeah, I don't know if it works only for the farmlands or for these other ones as well, but feels like they automated some of this stuff. So I'm pretty happy with that. The changes to the resources is okay. I feel like it's okay. You kind of get these regions that are a little bit like extremely handicapped, I would say. For example, the berries and fish, this is a really bad region. I would not want this. You can get 2 different food types, but then you have no access to anything else. You have to import all your clay, you have to import all your iron, you have to import all your ale. Like, this is not a good region for an advanced city. You'd be able to get away with a low tier city, but you wouldn't be able to do a high tier. And then I still think the king is going to be, and they don't have one on this map, but it would be iron rich and then soil rich. So that way you can get all your iron products and you can get your ale, your armor, everything you can do in one region. You would just have to trade for one-off items like some of the stone maybe you would need, and then clay, but everything else you can have in-house essentially. So I still think that's maybe needs to be balanced a little bit. I don't know how you would balance that actually, so maybe it is what it is, but pretty interesting there. I didn't really get a chance to mess with the castle planner. I don't see where you have option to upgrade this to stone. Is there a hotkey here for it? No, maybe I'll play with this offline, but if there is a way to get stone, it's not immediately apparent and obvious, and I've got like 1,000 hours in this game and I still haven't figured it out without building stuff. So I don't know if you have to upgrade, maybe you have to upgrade your walls or something. Oh, is that what this is for? What is this? Oh, okay, so you can upgrade this. Okay, well, there you go. There's nothing that tells you that you can do that. There's no, yeah, that's not good. They should make that more obvious. But I think that's how you do it then. You probably have to upgrade it from here. I didn't know that, but there you go. Yeah, we'll rebuild that. Anyways, yeah, I didn't really get to mess with the castle planner, but like I said, the biggest problem with the castle planner is there's not a good way to use the castle. I think maybe if you do the mode where you're getting attacked all the time, if you can build a castle around most of your town, that would be amazing, because then you could really set it up to have a good defense and actually make good use of it. So I'd have to test that. I don't know for sure, but yeah, that's interesting. Let's talk about development points. So this is kind of an interesting thing as well. I like how they did this. This is maybe a little bit overboard though. Like, are they going to do, I'm curious if they did this just as like a stopgap because they knew they weren't going to have any of these other ones done, so they just jammed 9 of them in here, or if they're going to have 9 for each tier, because this is a little bit extreme. I feel like maybe you can get away with 3 and then maybe 3 or 4 options at each level. That's a lot to balance. I'm just thinking it's a lot of work to do this, and it's probably not all that necessary, but maybe it's just because they didn't have time to do all of it and they wanted to at least have some options for everybody. But I'm pretty happy with the way these are. There's not too many of them in here that I can look at and say, oh, this is terrible, I would never pick this. Like, most of these are decent if you have the right scenario. So I feel like they're balanced pretty well and well thought out. So I think that's actually done pretty well. Some things aren't explained very well, Like, I just found out what elevation was because I had animals dying. I've tried to figure it out on other maps and I didn't see any, but I guess it just depends on the map. But yeah, some of these are pretty interesting. Overall, I feel good about this. This is positive. And I can't wait to see what they do with the other ones. This is pretty crazy. So there's going to be tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Before, if I'm not mistaken, it stopped at 5. Your town. Actually, is that accurate? Or did it go up to 6? Maybe it was at 6. 3 layers of village and three tiers of town or something like that. I can't remember. But this, yeah, I think this is a good direction. And I'm pretty happy with this. I think this is a great idea and fairly well implemented. Some of it still may be a little bit confusing to me. I think if I had a little more time, I would figure it out. So I think it's more my fault than the dev's fault. I'm just not paying as close attention to it. But let me look at this one. So we're still not getting any urban. How do we get urban? This might actually be when you get tier 3 in a castle or something. We don't have access to that because, you know, a pretty nasty bug. But this is a good idea. I do like how you can kind of set up bonuses and stack them and really specialize your regions. I think this is a great idea. And then finally, the records. I'm so happy they put this in the game. This is, I know it's maybe not the most accurate thing, although they took pretty good records back then, I would imagine, because nobody wants to get ripped off. So I'm sure they did this back then as well. Maybe instead of just giving you this, maybe you have to build a building within your manor house. Like, for example, there's the one that the tax collector, whatever his name is. So if you come in here, you can build the tax office. Maybe you can have something like this, or you can have the tax office, you can have the tax office open up that ability. So you have to build it first. You can't just get it from the beginning. And then that person is employed and going around and collecting data and resources for you. That might be a way to balance it out. So it's not just, because I know the developer's a little leery about just giving people modern conveniences. Yeah, because I had asked him for data before to make guides and he said he didn't want that stuff out there. And so I just did it on my own. But anyways, yeah, this is kind of cool. So getting 12-month production and consumption, I think this is a great idea. Now, if we could just get the same thing for our money, not just trade, but everything, because you make money from your burgage plots too. So it'd be nice to see what your income is and then seeing a breakout of how much of it's trade, how much of it is your burgage plots, how much is getting paid out to tax and all that stuff. That'd be kind of cool to see that. But overall, I think this is a very good addition. I'm glad that this was changed the way it is. And I'm curious to see how he balances the rest of the perks. But I think that's it. I mean, there's a couple other things with the start of the game, like the options and being able to move your starting location. That's kind of interesting. Not that big of a deal, but quality of life, I think it's good. Diplomacy is still non-existent. That needs to be completely overhauled. I know it's early access, so I'm sure it's low on the priority list, but just pointing it out. So yeah, I think that's it. I am considering doing a more difficult challenge run in this. We'll see. I'm going to sleep on it. This thing really bummed me out. So I need to maybe test it again and see if I can somehow figure out how to get this to work, the garments. I'm going to go poke around online and see. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. I figured since I haven't done one of these, not really a challenge run, but just kind of like revisiting a game, I figured I'd finish it off with a little snippet about my thoughts on the patch. So overall, pretty good patch. If you haven't played in a while, it's definitely worth trying out. Just don't have super high expectations of certain things, like getting up to burgage plot level 3. That's one of them. I think the combat and playing against the AI, this is trying to end it, but I'm gonna go over this actually because this was a huge disappointment for me as well. So getting a free town is kind of cool, but it needs a lot of work to fix all this and get it done right. So I would rather just have it blank and then have me build it up the way I want from scratch. So the AI is a good idea, but needs a lot of work. Not just in the way the AI builds the town, which I'm less concerned about if it builds it like this, but it fought well when I contested, I would be so much happier with it. Like, it sucks that all they do is hire mercenaries. All they did was they come in here and they hired 1 or 2 groups, and then they try to defend that way. That was really, really a letdown. I would love to see them pull maybe a mercenary group or 2, and then also bring in their militia. I want to see big fights. Like, there should be big fights. Maybe the first place you take, maybe they just do 1 or 2 mercenary groups. Second group, maybe it's all their militia, but it's like, 5 or 6 militia groups. And then maybe the final region, they can have both. As many mercenaries as are available, plus all the militia. and then have like a really big fight. They could step it up like that so that you have to fight your way through, because this was a huge letdown. Like, we spent all that time building up, getting our troops in order. We've got 6 strong, you know, fighting force, and then we didn't even lose a single person in that last battle because it was so easy. So super disappointed with that. I think I would just play on Hildebolt, or I'm gonna go look at the mods and see if that one mod is still here where it makes Hildebolt like insanely difficult, and then one that unlocks the amount of militia that you can have. Because if I'm not mistaken, let's see if we can add more. Why can I not add more? Are you only able to have 6 units total? Interesting. I'm gonna have to mess around with that. If I delete this, can I build something else? Yeah, because before you could get 6 militia. I remember what it was. You have to get all 6 militia out in this bar before you build your retinue. So it looks like they kept the same thing. I don't like that system at all. I think that's a mistake. Yeah. And then you can just keep building retinue after that, and you can have 6 militia and as many retinue as you can own regions. So it's not very good. Yeah, I think that needs to be changed. But like I said, I know he focused on one thing at a time. This isn't like, I wasn't expecting him to fix everything. So I'm complaining about it, but not in the sense that, oh, he didn't do his job. I'm complaining about it as, oh, that's an existing bug that just he hasn't had time to get to it. So not a big deal, but hopefully it gets fixed in the future. Yeah, we should be able to build as many militia as we want, in my opinion, and then just have the enemy scale to it or something. Because I want epic battles, big battles, not fighting 2 or 3 tiny mercenary groups to fight this town that had 91 families. No, it had more than that. It had 124 families, 2 at level 2, so it had 126 families. And they sent like 1 mercenary group. Come on, man. Get the militia out here. So anyways, I'm going to wrap that up. I think that pretty much sums it up. Definitely still worth playing. I might play another campaign on this one, but still needs a lot of work to be a finished product, I would say. Hope you enjoyed it. I will catch you guys on the next campaign. Take care.